All right, Gerry, it's another weekend. We're live again. So welcome,
It is.
folks. Yeah, it's Sunday night. It's the last Sunday before we have time change, DST, next weekend. So we lose an hour of sleep, but it is going to stay lighter longer. So it means you can go out walking later. It means you can tune into our live stream and then go out walking later after that if you want. But Gerry, so how was your week going last week? It was a pretty tough week. The kind of topic is just wanted to kind of touch on, I put a little bit of chessboard on the thumbnail because it was a bit of a chess game last week. Up and down, but I kind of expected the market to go down and it did. But and it kind of hit right where we thought it would hit, right? About 300 on the QQQ. I mean, it did drop down past that, but that's normal because it normally takes out some stops, and then those stops, those people, it causes a sell-off, and then people, if they were short, it causes a cover situation, which causes it to bounce back up, and that's theoretically we had intraday. So I guess in a sense, we should be really going up from here. At least that's I would put more of a guarantee that we go up than we go down. And we could trade sideways, but I would say with the stimulus passing, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Markets are up right now. Futures are up. NASDAQ is kind of flat, but the ES is up and the YM is up. So, I kind of really talk about how did you deal with last week. I'll talk about my situation too. I take it a day at a time. I take it a week at a time, right? One expiry at a time. Don't really worry about next week. And I really dodge in and out as best I can. I kind of try to judge, whether or not something's going to be in the money on Friday. Am I going to close it out early, take a loss, or am I going to try to see if it's going to be out of the money by the time it expires? And I honestly jumped the gun twice on the last 2 weeks. One was on Zoom, one was on Apple. Closed it out early, but that was before we had the reversal. So I figured it would make sense to just close out early, take a small loss or even a small gain, like $10 or something like that, instead of making $100 of the full amount and premium on it. It's just a educated guess, and I ended up being wrong, but that's okay. I'm still up for the week, and I think we're going to talk about this a little bit, but if we think we're going to be able to make what we normally make, every single week or every single month, when the market's down 10% in 2 weeks, right? So I still ended up week positive, but ARK-K really hurt me, but I'm still positive for the week. But there is some lessons to be learned there. I'm in ARK-K, I'm in Tesla as well. So it's like a double trifecta DP situation there. So I guess to kind of bring this thing back a little bit, I did have one thing in the money that I had to close out in one, unless I wanted to take ownership of ARK-K at 125, which I did not. So I ended up deciding to roll it out, and I did. But just to talk about it next week, I do have 3 things in the money right now for next week. And before the reversal happened, I had 5 things in the money for next week. Okay. Now there are solid positions. There's no junk in there. There's NVIDIA, there's AMD, there's what the hell else is in there? Shoot, I can't remember. I think that's Walmart and Costco. So I'm not worried about it. Right now the market should come up is my guess. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'll deal with those things as they come. Am I going to take ownership of them? Or am I going to close them out early? I really don't know yet, but we'll see. So I just kind of want to talk about how did you deal with last week? I know you had some stress as well. I went from 50% buying power down up to 67% buying power with that drawdown that we had. So I had to take action to not put myself at risk of being liquidated. Quite as I was a ways away, right, from the broker liquidating, but I was out of my comfort zone, so I had to take some action. So let us know how you go ahead and introduce yourself, but let us know how the week was for you as well. I'll start looking at questions.
Yeah, I'm Gerry, like you see down there. It says GW ETF channel. Check me out. But as you know, last week was a little pressured. It's different in an options account when the stock moves down 2%. I mean, when the market moves down 2%, you feel it a little bit more in the gut in an options account. So as some of you guys know, I run hot. I've always historically run hot, 65, 70% buying power usage. And I'm not saying this to say that I anticipated something, but it was the week before last, I started pulling off things and not putting as heavy of not being so heavy in the market or not so hot. So I started pulling things off, and I got myself down under 50% buying power usage, which is rare for me. So I was actually able to I was still under pressure this past week, but I was not as bad as it would have been if I would have ran as hot as I usually do. But that being said, I'm in the negative this week. I had to roll a position. I'm in the negative, but I'm not. When you roll a position, that's what, that's the bad part about, when you roll a position, you take a loss, but you sell that next position that covers that loss. So really
big loss too. Yeah.
A big loss too.
Yeah.
But your cash balance actually increases when you roll, if you're rolling right.
Correct.
So it's a loss, but it isn't. So it's kind of weird like that. But I had one that I rolled, which was ARK-K. I was in it, and there's a lesson learned for me, is I probably don't want to go out very far on ARK-K, because this particular position that expired last Friday, I was in like 3 weeks ago. So that's pretty long dated for a fund like that. Meme stocks or hype stocks, growth stocks, a lot can happen in 3 weeks. And obviously, it happened and it got into the money. So I was in a 136 strike. I rolled it down to 130 as best I can do out to April. So it was either that or I roll out to,
June.
It was like September. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just take it month by month. And, because you're either going to buy time or you're going to lower your put. I mean, I could have lowered the strike if I would have went out to September, but that's just too much. You tie up your money too long in that aspect. And I just want to.
What made you get into 136, by the way? I mean, that's diamond nuts right there.
Well, it wasn't 136 originally. It was I think it was a 125.
That's what I'm
but
in.
I rolled it up. I took the profits from the 125 when the market shot up.
Oh, you did what I normally do. Look at your existing.
I moved it up.
Oh, moved up $10. Let me move the strike up $10.
Exactly. And that's why I say originally it was 3 weeks ago, because I'm kind of counting that as one thing, but it wasn't, but it, I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. And, all you guys out there, go buy Tesla, buy the dip, buy ARK-K, buy the dip. He'll help me out. But, I mean, that's just part of the long run. That's just part of the options game is playing that, making those moves to make your buying, when your margin expands, that you don't get really hurt. And that's, thankfully the week prior, I moved a lot of positions and I got out of positions and I was able to withstand it. It got ugly for a minute there, but not where I was super stressed. So
this is what sets the men and women from the girls and boys. This is when it counts, right? How you deal with those drawdowns. They don't happen often. And here, I'm Dave safe, coined, all good here, but I have positions that were in the money. I had like 7 positions in the money, and you know how safe I am, right? Yeah. So, yeah, a 10% drawdown is gonna hit you, and if you're more aggressive, you try to be like diamond nuts, you're gonna be rolling a lot of stuff. Now, what I try to do, and maybe you try to do this too, if you can roll it out to the same month, you will, because that way you can realize the gain that month. It doesn't look like a loss, right? instead of pushing the gain off to
Right.
April.
Right.
It's a mental thing. It doesn't really
It
matter because
is.
at the end of the year, all that matters is your gains, really.
Your
But
total up or your total down. I mean, that's
yes,
really all that matters. So, I keep track of my daily profits, and it's probably it's not a bad thing, but sometimes mentally it kind of messes with you. Like, okay, every day I'm making
I know
money,
exactly what you're talking about.
and then all of a sudden you got to roll, and then you have a negative $1,700 on the day, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
crap, But
And then you
it's
have a
not.
plus $1,800 right below it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
expire that month, so you can't count. It's not realized yet either.
Exactly. So it looks like a loss, but it's not a loss. So it's hard to explain. I tried to explain it to my wife, but it was like, you can't really explain that. It's a loss, but it isn't.
Right. So I had a 125. I rolled mine, and I looked like down the road. I'm like, all right, how can I get down below this thing? I decided to buy it back and take a $700 loss on it, but I decided to just break the gains up at this point to make the $700 back plus money. So it'll take me probably 3 months to make it back, or if it comes up, maybe even sooner than that. But so I roll it down to 100. Okay. And the 100 was 20 days out for $250. So, 3 of those, I'll make the money back. And I feel like 100, like, instead of rolling it down to, I think it was like, I could roll it down to like 120 or something like that, and it's like, and it was already down to 115 or something, it's like, forget it. So I just said, screw it. I'll just roll down to 100. It should be safe. I'll just break up in 3 increments and it'll make the money back. And then start, because it should be going up, right?
In hindsight, that's probably what I should have done. And I actually have another one expiring this next Friday. So that's in the money as well. So we'll see. I might have to do that again next Friday, or, I might take that route because, either way, rolling is just a fancy way of saying take the loss and sell another one. So whether you sell another one to cover your loss right now or you spread it out over months, it doesn't really matter.
It's a part of the game. We're not trying to take possession of the shares. So we're rolling, right? Because I actually thought about taking ARK at 125. People probably in this chat be like, oh, that's a killer price, but look at it. I mean, Tesla can still go down, another 100 points, you know what I mean? So, and that's like the top rated stock in ARK. So I just wasn't willing to take it at this time. It is what it is. If I can get it 100, yeah, it'd be better, right? So let me do some shout outs here. Welcome all good. Matt Money, thanks for the super chat there, Matt. Let's see here. Kevin G, welcome. Let's see here. Who else? Oh, welcome, Dan. See here. She's just skipping on me, Gerry.
I'm not sure where you're at.
Yeah, Frank B, welcome. Let's see. Yeah. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Buddy. Let's see. More room to run. Yeah, okay. So Stock Ninja. That's my boy, Stock Ninja there. Invest to retire. Don't know who you are. Just kidding. Welcome. Rick. Hey, Rick, welcome, buddy. Let's see, TQQQ. Yeah, I got about 3 puts on TQQ right now. Let me see.
Same, actually 4. I got 4.
4? Yeah, I'll probably open up another 1 or 2 this week. I got
a way down there though.
65, a 55, and a 60. So I'll probably get down below that.
Mine are at 15 and 1750.
Yeah, well, you're out a lot further too, right? Let's see. Let's get down here. James, where there you are. Welcome, James.
Yeah, James. Hope everything's well with you.
Yeah, I think he's a trucker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a heavy haul truck driver.
That's a tough business, but
there it is.
I think that's your wife. Carrie, welcome. Don't cut me. How are you, Dan?
Don't cut you.
Yeah. So looks like we're down to the bottom here. No real questions. But yeah, so right now I don't really know what's going to go on with the market this week. I mean, the stimulus, we were talking about the stimulus earlier, and the market was already anticipating the stimulus anyway. That was already baked in. Now, the only thing that would have caused the market to go down is if the stimulus didn't pass for some reason and it got pushed back. That probably would have caused the market to tank. But at this point, it was already priced in, so I don't really expect it to do much with the market. We were talking last night, though. It's so interesting how everything kind of works out like in lockstep, right? Like the reversal happened on Friday, and then we have the stimulus pass. What was it, Saturday?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the chances of that, right? It's a coincidence. It's a coincidence, right? It's not that it's not a coincidence. That happens for a reason. Look at a chart. Look at where we bounced. It was like perfect, and then the stimulus passes. So to me, that's not a coincidence. That was literally planned, probably.
Yeah, the only thing, if the market goes down, something would have to happen to that, and I don't see anything happening to that. So, we could be sideways here.
Still, sideways is fine. We
It's
might
fine.
not make as much money as quickly, but we'll still make a lot of money, right?
Yep.
So, that's the great thing about options. We can make money on a down market. We can make money in a sideways. We can make it upside down, backwards, forwards, triangle, obtuse triangle. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that really hurts us is a substantial down market in a short amount of time, kind of like what we've had, right? The last 2 weeks has been pretty challenging. 10% down in the Qs, right? In the NASDAQ. When I would say that 60 to 70% of my positions are the NASDAQ stocks, right? Let's say I think I saw Marie in here.
Yep, she was up there.
She goes. She deleted her. No, she does. I thought she deleted it. Maybe all good. Welcome, Marie. I'm glad to have you here. Was this a question here? Well, let's see. Multiple tickers such as RK, Tesla, Chewy, Palantir, Neo have hit the uptick rule. Yeah. I think that only lasts for like 3 days or something, doesn't it? So this should be cleared out March 8th. Yeah. So I don't know when they hit that. It was probably on what, Friday? So
Probably.
I think it's 3 business days or something for that to go away. I think he's talking about a short restriction, I think is what he's talking about.
I
If I'm
believe
not
so.
mistaken.
Yeah.
In IEB, it shows a little red dot next to it.
Right.
Which means you can only sell on the bid, or is that it? The ask. It's one of the two. Multiple tickers. Yeah. RK. Yeah, I don't have my platform open because it takes up too much bandwidth. I do have a Tesla put on right now. It's at 450. So I might even take the shares at 450, but it is what it is. I do have 2 leaps on Palantir right now. I've been playing leaps a lot more lately, and they've been working out really well. I literally day traded, made a boatload of money in Pepsi on at 128, bought 1 leap on it, and then sold it the next day. And it got up to like 132 or something like that. So they've been working out in my favor. It's just in a different account, so I don't really show it because it is what it is. But I kind of have you been looking at getting leaps more a lot lately?
It's kind of I would like to, but it's a double-edged sword with a small account. When
That's true.
when the market's going down and you need liquidity, you really can't buy. You can't buy anything because buying they don't look at things you own as liquid, right? So it really takes away and makes that margin expansion really kind of hurt you having those long positions.
I feel you there. That's why I didn't want to take possession of RK and some other stuff. I'm like, well, I'm like literally doing the math. Okay, that's 20 grand. That's 40 grand here. That's taking up buying power. But I thought about like literally if I took the stock at this price, even if I took RK at 115, I was like, man, I can still sell above my cost basis, which was 135, right? And still make a pretty good killing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I mean, you could even if I took at 125, I was looking at it. You still make on calls about $200 a week.
Yeah, exactly. But the risk is it going down to 106 or something again, right? Or even below, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me just give it another week or so, and then I'll think about it. But yeah, welcome, Christian. Let's see here. It's this one. That bill had so much. Oh yeah, for sure. It was only 9% went to actual COVID relief. The rest is
Yeah,
all baked in and bailouts and
that's
whatever.
been happening for years and years and years, though.
Yeah, it's going to be baked in for at least what? How many years? I think it went out like 4 years or something like that, or is it more than that?
It's something like that. But I'm just saying the bills like that, they've been passing those bills for decades.
Oh, I know. It's yeah. They both sides do it. It is what it is. But what are the Republicans going to do this time? We're not going to pass it. There's so much pork in this, and then they're going to look like bad people that don't care about the people that actually need the COVID relief, right? So it's just a stupid game. 51 of us in here, 16 likes. Yeah, you show them. You beat them down there, Rick. Let's show Dave and Gerry some love for the knowledge and sharing. Yeah, hit the like button, y'all. That way we can try to get demystify, debunk, whatever options. I mean, people get freaked out about options for some reason,
Yeah.
and I kind of get it because there's a lot of horror stories out there. I mean, are we sharing a horror story this week? Not really, but
No.
there is risk, right? And if you really screw up, there's a big risk, right? So it's you just need to know how to deal with them and how to handle them. But
Yeah, it's all about management, position management, account management, money management is really, it comes down to that.
yeah, because it literally in just a few hours, I went from like 50% buying power usage up to 67 just from
Exactly.
a little 2% drawdown, so it can really, really hit you. I can remember back in February of 2020 when that, like, we had like a 10% down week in a week, 10% down in a week. So that'll hit you. That'll hit every position.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter really how, day safe you are. I don't care if you're 100% probably out of the money. That probably still hit you.
it would. It would. That's the thing. People got to realize, even those Robinhood, because it'll show you the probability of profit. You guys got to understand that is for that snippet of time
Yes.
at that moment. That's what it is, and that changes a minute later. So
Yeah. It can go from 5% up to 15% in, quickly. I don't know if it'd be in a day, but I mean, it would be quick. All depends on the delta, really. But
yeah,
Stock Ninja, we were talking about Billions last night. If anybody has not seen the show Billions, which was on Showtime, which is it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but take a look at that show. It's actually really good. So, not to mention that Maggie's Sif is hot too, but shout out and dibs to Maggie Sif if you're available. Let's see here. I'm doing stock market all day. Yeah, you don't even have a 9 to 5 anymore. Um, yeah. Let's see how hard. Let's see. Yeah. It's hard to look at stocks after hours. Huh. That
I'm
doesn't bother
always
me.
looking.
What are you looking at? Like it doesn't bother me. What are you talking about there, Stock Ninja?
Matt's gonna get started paying back the deficit.
Yeah. Dan's he's an instigator. He's trying to get us to get talking about politics. And yeah, don't even get me started there, Dan. Like I said, we talked about it last week. I don't get it. I haven't had a stimulus. I mean, I don't need it, but I look at all the people on YouTube that do stimulus check videos. They don't need it either. They're investing it. They don't need it, but there's a small amount of people that do need it though, right? Um, I think the threshold should have been lower. It should have been like 50K or something like that. Just because I think 75K, if you're making 75K, you're probably doing fine. If
Unless
you're,
you live in San Francisco or something
why
like
would you be
that.
living in San Francisco making 75K?
Well, if you've
Right?
been
Like,
there
I don't even
forever,
know. I don't think you can even live there on 75K, let
well,
alone, right?
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying is if you've been there all your life, then 75K you can do it just fine because you've locked in your
yeah,
mortgage payment.
$1.5 million house is paid off by now.
Yeah, exactly.
If
But
anybody
new
remembers
people,
the .com went .gone, the 2001 crisis, right? Actually, it's a very short recession, but that was the time to buy real estate in the Bay Area because you could have got a house pennies on the dollar. And the housing crisis never really hit that area again. Even in 2008, it didn't hit it that bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time to buy it. But let's see here. Robinhood limited options on Rocket. Yeah, Rocket's the next Wall Street Bets target, or was. I don't know if it still is, but it was definitely because I heard about him talking on CNBC. They're putting the little rocket sign next to it.
That's their logo.
Yeah, well, the thing is people have been using the rocket to the moon, right? Like Palantir to the moon. So they use the little rocket. Well, people are getting confused with Rocket Mortgage, right? So it was kind of funny. But I forgot what SMH stands for. Does that shake my head? That shake my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robert Hood, shizzle my dizzle, drizzle, nizzle, dibs.
Oh, is that Drizzle?
Yeah, that's Drizzle.
He added an O.
Feeling froggy, leap. I need to talk to you, Dan. See how I'm going to deal with AT. But Damien, welcome, buddy. At least I know that's a male. So, I don't know what gender, pronouns to use for to be proper. But GM, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while, but
yeah, it's been a while.
Well, like button pressed, smashed. Let's see here. Was this prepper? Proper. I guess prepper's in my mind right now. So proper 19, welcome. I think that's a Monopoly.
Yeah, dude. I like the Monopoly, man.
You know my favorite one from that game is the one where he's like kicking back with his feet on the desk and he's smoking the cigar. That's my favorite one.
I got a Bitmoji that does that. I like it.
Very good series. I was very surprised. I had, saw it on my, I think that might have been a Netflix one if I'm not mistaken, but I saw it on there and I was like, I'm not really interested. And then somebody kind of recommended it in the chat or whatever. I'm like, all right, let me take a look at it. It had good ratings too. I was very surprised. It's actually funny. He's actually funny in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm more of a Zapka fan personally because of Barney Stinson, but he was funny in there though. It was actually really good. Not to mention the girls are really cute in there too. Even though they're high school, but they're not really high school age. If you really go back and look, they're like 26, 27. So it is what it is. But.
Freaking Dave. Man, my wife binge watched that sucker, Cobra Kai.
It was really good. They play high school kids, but they're like 27, 28. So
yeah, I don't
watch. It look like they're in high school. But yeah, don't judge me. Like balance sheets, research into stocks. Okay. That doesn't really help in some cases, but what's this one? Eric, you know what? I've never seen you before, so welcome. What's the deal with all the options volume on? Is that Dunkin' Donuts? What's DNN?
No, I think that's Denison Mines. I think it's a small mining company. I mean, a lot of those,
You're right.
penny stocks have high volume.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I mean this is.
Is it Denison Mines?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it always pops up on my. It pops up on my tracker on Fidelity all the time.
You need to adjust your tracker.
Yeah, well, it's just they have preset things in there.
I mean, I don't know what you're trying to get on there. I mean, you're trying to trade this thing. To me, it's just like, when did this pick up? Inflation's picking up and all that, so maybe that's the reason why mines are doing good. I don't know what type of mine this is either, though. Uranium. Well, that's why. Biden's a big proponent of, getting a lot of other countries to enrich in uranium and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about uranium at all. I just know it's made to make is it just for bombs or is it for nuclear or like nuclear power as well?
I'm not sure, but I think it is. I think it's for nuclear power as well.
It's Canada as well. Yeah, I don't know. You think that the reason why, I mean, he's kind of like he's pro alternative energy, but I don't think they like nuclear though, right?
No, they see it as dirty.
Yeah, they don't like nuclear. They don't like oil. They don't like coal. I mean, literally, they don't like anything except wind and solar. But
Solar.
that's just not going to work. It's not going to work because a snowstorm, right? That covers the solar panels, right? Unless you put some sort of something
Freezes the fan.
away, right? And then the windmills freeze up. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, you need some sort of other energy out there that can supply energy to not just the coastal areas, because you can use waves or something for that, right? But what about the rest of the United States? You know, there's not enough dams to provide, hydroelectric, right? I mean, what are you going to do? You need nuclear, honestly, is probably one of the best bets. It is scary, right? Chernobyl and all that, China syndrome. But it is clean, and I think we've learned a lot about it nowadays that it could be safe. Honestly, I don't want to live near one, but so,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live near one either. But I mean, you're talking what, decades of advancement in that area. I mean, it's got to be a hell of a lot more safer now than it was.
it is. I think we've learned a lot about it. There was a movie on it 2 years ago. I can't remember what it was. Back in like the 80s or something. Was it Chernobyl? It might have been Chernobyl.
Probably.
Yeah. Take a look at that movie. It's interesting.
I've watched some documentaries on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's still nobody living near that thing.
Mm-mm.
Not
I don't
till
think anything. I don't think anything lives near it. Actually,
no.
not even
What's the
insects.
half-life on it? 150 years. I mean, it's something crazy, right?
Yeah.
What's this one? I see that name before. Are you guys buying strangles? Or selling the option? Honestly, I haven't done a strangle in a while. It's probably been a month since I've done a strangle.
Same.
It would have been fine. Like the strangles would work, but you never know where you have the downturn, right? So it is what it is. And I think Gerry was asking me, was you asking me last week about, or it might have been this live stream. I don't know. Somebody saying, when are you going to, I think it was Thursday actually. When are you going to start putting on calls, right? Naked calls. I'm like, it's not the time to be putting naked calls on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're too late. Markets can pop up. It could pop up, 5 or 10% in a week. Could. It's probably not going to happen, but because we elevate her down and we stairs up, right? But it is what it is. Welcome, Citizen Cody, Citizen of the Year. What should be All-Star game? Oh, I forgot about the All-Star game.
I think my son's watching it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the NBA. I just didn't know. Normally, the All-Star game's in February, so it's kind of weird. It got pushed back, I guess, to March. So I thought it was already over, honestly, but it is what it is. Welcome, Freedom Chaser, Sam. Go and check her channel out. She needs some love. So go show her love from me, if you would, please. She's trying to grow her channel out. And I try to do the best I can to share. I'm not a big channel, but I try to grow people if I can.
Oh, Freedom Chaser. What is that? Is that a finance channel or is it more of a?
She's all of the above. Getting out of debt, investing. I think she gardens as well. Just life stuff. Yeah, it's all about freedom. Caress it. Yeah. You moving into my woman? What the hell? Series was well. Yes, I totally agree, and I can't wait till the next season comes out. That's the problem that I have. Like, I kind of like to find new series that have like 5 seasons that are already out that I can just binge watch. Right? I don't got to wait a whole nother year. So that's what's happening with Billions right now. I'm on the 2nd season, and I think there's 4. I think there's only 3 available to me right now. But Mike, I'm going to run through it and then be like, I got to wait for the whole damn another.
Where's that on?
It's on Amazon Prime. That's where I think you can get it off of somewhere else too, but that's where I'm getting it from. So, welcome, Rebecca Thompson. Are you trying to get into options, Rebecca? Let us know if you are. We could try to help you out, or I don't know what we can do for you. Try to do something for you, but answer questions or help you out. I just said that, but Kevin W. I don't know if I've ever run into you. Sorry, joined late. Last week was tough. Oh yeah, absolutely. Took a loss too, huh? Yeah, we were just talking about this earlier. Like, my goal was to make $6K a month, right? And I'm like, okay, so January and February I made $6K a month, and then I'm like, this week I'm up 700. I actually had to take a loss from 1,500 down to 7. It's like, oh, am I going to make my $6,000 a month? You just need to stop being so hard on yourself. The market's down. We had a 10% down move. You're not going to make as much that month probably, right? So,
I was looking at it, and I was looking at like worst case scenario, right? And I was looking at all my positions, pulled the calculator out, added it all up, and I was like, I could just sidestep this whole thing, close all my positions out, and start over.
you could.
Now, that's taking a few $1,000 loss, but that's just,
you still be up for the year.
You'll still be up for the, would still be up for the year.
Yeah.
And I could it's like a reset button. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying it's, you don't have to, you can just take it a week at a time like we're doing. Look at things that are expiring. And I think this is a good lesson too, is to spread out your dates.
For sure.
Because I definitely am way overweight on things expiring on March 19th.
Is that because of your monthlies? March 19th is the expiry for the typical monthlies. So
yeah,
you're doing a lot of ETFs that probably only have monthlies too.
Exactly.
I was just thinking about that too. I'm like, what lessons or rules? What new rule can I add? Right? Like, rule number 56. The bro code. But what can I add? Like, okay, I'm in RK, right? Should I be in Tesla and RK at the same time? Right? I was thinking about that. I'm like, you really need to think a little bit deeper. And this is, something like this where because we hadn't dealt with it yet, right? It's been a long time since we had a pretty good pullback, at least since we started doing this full time. This 10% pullback, there's some rules or lessons to be learned here, and how you spread stuff out, maybe the types of stocks, like, do you want to be in, NVIDIA, SOXL, and AMD, right, all at the same time, or maybe the same expiry, or not spread those out. Like, I'm in SOXL, I'm in NVIDIA, I'm in AMD, right? So I don't know. There's some things you can probably learn there. Yeah, you got to watch that Matt Money guy. Let's see here.
Dave.
F and Dave. Yeah. Is that a t-shirt?
I need to make that shirt. F and Dave.
Yeah, that's a t-shirt. Dibs. What's another one? Dave safe. Extra shot of what's Marge?
Marge hitting? Extra shot on the
margin? What's he talking about? Let's see here. Mark Saloon. Options on UUUU have been in. You know what? I gotta look that one up. You know what that one is?
Is that real?
I don't know. Yeah, it's real. It's energy fuels. That's another freaking like micro cap or small cap.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I've been
This is a separate guy, but it's another uranium stock.
Yeah, I gotta stay away from the micro caps and those things, man. Yeah, I mean, I get it because the premiums there are freaking awesome, but holy cow, you can get burned.
It's following the same trajectory that the DNN followed, by the way, almost perfectly. So they're all going through the same, honestly, it popped up right after the elections. If you look at it, that's when it started like, okay, let's go up. But
I see that
weird because it's the opposite of what we think.
I see that a lot. A lot of people will run a bunch of options, and I'll look at the tickers they're showing, and it's like, those are all the same kind of companies. I mean,
but you think, why would uranium go up though? Is it because of other countries over in the Middle East that are enriching, and we're not going to put a stop to it? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know, because
Dan should chime in on this.
Oil has gone up, right?
Well, there's other reasons why that's going up, right? Exploration's down, demand's still down. Let's see, what's the third option? I think there's a trifecta / quad effector going on with that one, so it's kind of like a lemon party going on here. But so the third thing is demand's down, which is coming back a little bit. Exploration's down, and also you have Biden that doesn't like it, but that should technically raise it up. But
Right.
I think down the road. Maybe Matt will chime in on that one.
Gold's going down too.
What's that?
Gold's going down too.
That makes sense. It does make sense because it's over, but inflation is going to be going up probably eventually at some point. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to do. I think it just might be one of those ones that's trying to shake out people. It should technically go north again, but so gold really didn't hit the highs until 2 years after 2008, 2011, like kind of, I want to say mid 2011 / late 2011. That's when the gold and silver hit top.
I put a couple. I put the ETF gold on my watch list, and that's GLD, and I put Barrick Gold, which is GOLD, on my watch list as well. So
why did you do that?
Just because I see on my options watch list, I see it trending down. I'll just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we talked about that, Dan, but it's not practical. It's not practical. And that's the issue. Why did Texas run into the issue they ran into? Because it wasn't necessarily that the solar and the wind went down. It was the fact that all the new money into that state is going into solar and wind, so they didn't really upkeep the existing infrastructure. That's what the issue was. The existing infrastructure, they're not putting any new money into it, so it's kind of like dilapidated, right?
Yeah, it's antiquated now.
Yeah, that's the issue right there. It's not that that it's all about solar and wind. It's just the reason why you had issue there is because all the new money's going into that, and they're not upkeeping the existing stuff. Let's see here. The wind farms work fine and cold outside of Texas. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with that. They did make an example of that though, showing frozen, windmills and stuff that aren't spinning. But I just don't think that wind is. It's not the end all be all. What if it's not windy that day, right? Gas prices are up over 30%. Yeah, we're going in front of the still cheap here because we have 85 octane. We're so high up. So you want cheap gas, you come here because it's 85 octane. You don't need the higher stuff. But
car runs good on that.
Yeah, you're higher level, right? So the car automatically adjusts it through a mass airflow sensor and it's called a BAP, right? A barometric atmosphere pressure sensor or whatever. So it adjusts off the elevation, so you don't really need as much octane. I still put higher octane in anyway, but it'll go higher. I got a hot rod, that my Pathfinder is a super hot rod.
Hey, that has that V6, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's 4-liter V6.
Doesn't it require a 92?
No, you can get away with the 85 here. We'll go higher from both policies. Yeah. So what I should be stocking? You know what? Gas doesn't last like diesel. Diesel lasts forever, really, but gasoline will turn into turpentine if you let it sit long enough. Yeah, there's a lot right next door to us in Kansas, like that I-70 corridor going that way towards Kansas. There's a boatload of freaking windmills out there.
In Wyoming too, no?
I don't remember. So I've been on 50 in Wyoming too, and I don't remember ever seeing any off of 50, but that was several years ago. I remember specifically in Kansas though, because there's nothing else to do in Kansas. It's really a shithole. Sorry if anybody's from there. It's really just flat and tumbleweeds, and there's nothing there until you get way east. So yeah, you know what? I put it out on a lot of people. Shit, I'm sorry, people, if you watch that. We just got done building a farm in Canada.
A wind farm.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what James does. I thought he was a trucker, but.
Oh, no, he delivers the
oh, really? Oh, you like doing a flatbed, those big old windmills?
Yeah, he delivers the poles. It comes in, 3-4 sections.
That's cool. Like that. That's cool. We like insider trading over here now. I learned off of Billions, but, one of my friends was talking about that. It's like, hey, you can buy a windmill, and collect the money off of it. It's a pretty good amount of money, by the way. You collect every month off of it. They're not cheap though. That's the problem. To get into those things, you almost need to split it up with a bunch of people. But it was something I was thinking about. GM, I hang out in Discord, but I'm a lurker now. Yeah, I mean, which Discord are you hanging out in? I don't know if I've ever seen you in Randy's. Just post my monthly trades, my portfolio every 6 months. Okay, I watch your YouTube videos. Okay, yeah, sweet. I know you've been following me for quite a while, so it's good to see you here. I don't know if you follow. Have you seen him in your channel, Gerry?
Nah, he might have been. If not, come check me out.
Who's the guy from Boston who was big on strangles? Boston.
Is that a mafia thing? Strangle?
Oh shit!
Boston
Is
Strangler?
that what he's trying to do? Freaking Dan. That's typical. I'll tell you who that person is. You don't definitely want to mess with them though. You'll end up, at the bottom and swimming with a fish somewhere, concrete tied to your legs, or you might end up underneath a building with concrete, paved over you. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So yeah, I'm all over the place at the moment. That's fine. We all find our niche. I
Yep.
still don't even know what my niche is yet, so I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, Netflix is for Cobra Kai. It's not for billions. Yeah, Jerry's my hero too. He's my brother from another mother. I don't know who you are, Andrew, but welcome.
Me and
Let's
Dave
see
are
here.
twins, by the way.
Who?
Me and
What?
you are twins, by the way.
Yeah, right.
If you didn't notice.
Cobra Kai. Let's see, Gino, I've seen you. Welcome. Billions is good. I watched it on. Yeah, it's on Showtime, but I think there's other ways to get Showtime too, right? It gets baked in, or what they've been. A lot of places, not a lot of places. A lot of these streaming companies have been doing, as they had been like putting out the new season on Showtime, and then the other networks, like Netflix or Amazon or whatever, they don't get it until 6 months after or a year after or something like that. That's what I've been seeing. I've been waiting for The Walking Dead, the latest season, to come out. It's on AMC, but I don't have AMC, so I'm kind of waiting for it to hit Netflix or something.
So one place gets the exclusive for a while, and then
Yeah, that's what
they
they've been
shop it
doing.
out after.
So they're all trying to do their own thing, and it's like, I don't blame them, but I subscribe to Amazon, I subscribe to Netflix, and I have Sling, and I'm not going to buy another one. I'm cheap. You're lucky I have three at this point, and obviously, the only reason I have Amazon is because of my bacon. But here's my profile pic, Kevin W. What did your profile look like before?
Wongster.
Wongster. Learn options. Yeah, that'll help you. She's going to retire soon, by the way. I think 2023. No, late 2022. She's going to retire. So
Nice.
got all mapped
Congrats.
out already. Options could help you. Definitely, pay for that extra, lavish lifestyle. I don't know if you're lean fired or fat fired or whatever, but you're definitely in a different boat than I'm in. I don't have pensions. I don't have medical or anything like that. But options are a good way. Just 100 grand sitting on the side, you can generate another $1,000, a month or something like that. Real easy. With like just it's like is it risk free or what? I don't know if it's risk free, but it's like very low risk.
It could be low risk.
It is low risk if you want it to be low risk.
Yeah. You control you essentially kind of control your risk.
Exactly. Going to go back to ETF. I didn't realize some of the CSPs had earnings. Yeah. I turned on earnings and then I run my script. It checks earnings for me. I wouldn't say it like flashes or anything, but it puts it right there. Right when I'm looking at the probabilities, it puts the earnings right there. Just
Really? How much is that?
$5 extra a month.
Is it waived if you have so many
No,
commissions?
no.
It's a flat fee, huh?
If you have $1,000 a month commissions, it's waived. No, it's not waived. The
Dang it.
$5, in my opinion, that's what's five? That's $60 a year. That's honestly, if it just saves you in one trade, it'll probably pay for it.
Yeah. But I always, that's the thing I do. I look for the stock. I go to a chart, look where it's at. I look at when earnings is, and that's the basics.
I think it's a smart thing to do. You don't want to push in earnings, especially on certain stocks. It would have worked in my favor on Zoom. Well, I take that back. The only reason why Zoom went up after earnings is because I got out of it before earnings. Okay, I took a loss on purpose because I didn't want to take it through earnings, and then it went up. But I mean, it sold off the next day or two.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that's another lesson right there. I know a lot of people play earnings because of the elevated premiums right before earnings, but
I don't know about
you're
that.
really kind of gambling in a sense.
It's a straight gamble unless you straddle it.
It's either gonna go up or it's gonna go down, and if you're gonna sell a put on it, you're betting that it's gonna go up. Well, if it goes down, then you're in trouble. So
Well, you
I'd
take down
rather,
a certain percentage.
I would rather wait till earnings comes out, see what the market is going to do, and then you move in and
That's more my strategy. Oh, Zoom sold off 10%. I'm in it. I'm going to sell another. I'm going to sell put that day, right? Yeah. So that's my strategy going forward. Had been for quite a while. For anybody that's not aware of how you figure out what the anticipated move is of a stock, you take literally right before the stock closes that day, or the earnings is, and you take the nearest expiry. You add the nearest strike, right? So if it's Apple's at 110.50 or something like that, you find the 110 strike or whatever. You add the middle of the buy of the ask and the bid on the put side. You add the middle of the bid and ask on the call side. You add those together, and then you divide it out by the stock. That'll give you the percentage, or divide it by the current price. That'll give you the anticipated move, either up or down. It's pretty surefire, by the way. It works. It's pretty darn close. That's just a trick that I learned like years ago. I don't know how many years ago now. Hey guys, if your options, what? Oh, your options. Options in my head, man. If your opinion would, let's see. Hey guys, if your opinion would Jeppy be safe to put option premium in? I thought there's is there options on?
No, what he's asking is when he sells a put on something and he collects the premium.
Oh, he's talking about like the profits putting in there?
Yeah.
Is it a he or she? Sorry.
Not sure.
Well, waiting for it to expire. I'm not following this one, Jerry.
Well, it's what he's trying to do. So, Gabe, when you sell a put, you receive the premium. You can do whatever you please with that premium. That cash is yours to keep regardless. But you still have that contract. Now, that contract is either going to cost you to exit or it's going to expire worthless. One of the two, or you're going to have to roll it. But the cash you receive, you can do whatever you want with at that time. So you can throw it in Jeppy. You can throw it in NUSI. You can just, withdraw it and go eat dinner. You can do what you want with that cash. So,
but there's a but to that, because the but is, and I ran into this, I used the money in my dividend portfolio, and then I bought something back for a loss, right? The VYM, correct? Bought the VYM contracts back for a loss. Well, guess what? Now I'm negative $700 in my account. I'm on margin, theoretically. So I actually had to satisfy that by just selling a couple of shares of something else to satisfy it, right? So if you don't have cash in there and you're using that cash, but you buy it back for a loss or whatever, then you might be on margin.
Yeah. So, it's fine to invest that premium income somewhere, but you're going to have to still cover that contract that you have out there.
You know what? You might be on margin. Kind of reminds you might be a redneck. That's what it reminds me of. If your house has more wheels than your car, you might be a redneck or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Let's see here. Let's see. Figure out how much margin buying power you want to use. Thumper. You always got to hurt my brain. Figure out how much margin or buying power you want to use at any given time. Then only deploy 25. I don't know about that. That's not aggressive enough, probably. For most cases, you're just wasting money. Now, I mean, if you're just trying to, eke off a little bit of an income here or there, you want to play it safe, that's fine. But I know you use more than 25% there, Thumper. I'm calling them out. Tam, welcome. We're just having fun here like we do every week. Margarita. I'm all about the mojitos personally. Damn, Gerry, it jumped on me.
You got Dan there talking about uranium. Uranium is an alternative to coal.
Holy shit, I'm way off. Let me try to catch up here. Uranium is alternative to coal. Yeah. Yeah, and they force other countries to enrich it. They don't really care. They don't really enforce it. So they're not really hard on other countries. They try to posture themselves that they are and try to make it seem like they are, but they're not. Bill Gates was talking about nuclear energy recently. I'm not a big Bill Gates fan these days, personally.
Yeah.
To me, he's just kind of become a whack job a little bit. He still does good. Don't get me wrong. He still does good in this world, but he's a little bit of a whack job. Just like Robert Kiyosaki has become a little bit of a whack job too.
He kind of has, yeah.
He's a smart dude, but he's just, in my opinion, he's pushing gold and silver, and that's it's not just that though. It's the way he talks. Look at a talk show recently with him talking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they push this gold and silver, and they're going to be right eventually, right?
Well, the thing is for most people, you should be invested in stocks right now, not gold and silver, right? If you're a rich dude like he is, like a super wealthy dude, you're a top 1%er or something like that, then you should have gold and silver, right? Because you're not worried about trying to make money, you're trying to preserve.
Right.
Because gold and silver is not about it's not an investment. It's all about hedging, and it's just a hedge against inflation. But in my opinion, equities can be a hedge against inflation too.
So is brass.
Right now. Nuclear is actually super safe. Yeah, we get that. It's probably more safer now than it has ever been. The last issue we had was Fukushima, right? That's 2011. I've returned. Yeah. What'd you have? A ribeye? The drive-through marg was. Oh, that's right. He gets some drive-through margaritas. Arcas. Anyone guess on CPI numbers coming out? I don't sell something I normally follow actually.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, when is that? Is that a Wednesday thing or what? Let's see. When's the CPI numbers? Yeah, I don't see those. They're not out yet. I normally follow the beige book, the Thursday, the gas, and I follow like the numbers on Friday. But CPI is not one I follow. I probably should. I'm probably dumb. If people get batteries and turn their house into mini energy stores, it could be linked together. Most of the issues, the outages could go away. So you're talking about like grid tied systems where you basically have solar that puts back to the grid, and then you actually get a kickback that month on your energy. Right? If you actually live in a very sunny place, Colorado is actually very sunny. We have like 330 days of sun here. So it's a very sunny place here. It might be cold, but some of those days, but you can actually have a grid tied solar system. They do it like a flying V shape because it catches in the morning time and it catches in the afternoon. So they've kind of put the solar system will have it's called a flying V, but it'll I've done a lot of research on this because I thought about having an off-grid house. So you can actually put storage or put energy back to the grid and get paid for it if you actually have a grid tied system. But I think it's a good way to go. I think every house should. They're not ugly like they used to be. You can put them on the backside if you have if you're ever going to buy a house, make sure that you have it faces the right way, right? I learned this by living here in Colorado. You don't want a house that faces north, because guess what? Your driveway is always going to have snow in it if you live in a snow area. It just doesn't get any sun there, so it's always going to have snow there. So you just really need to think about where you're going to live, and kind of how the house is positioned, whether or not solar is going to even work. Put yourself in a position where it could work, right? Wyoming has tons of wind farms. Yeah, so Cheyenne's known for a super windy place.
Yeah.
You don't really want to live there. I've been to Cheyenne a couple times. I did a couple jobs up there, but literally people were saying you need to walk like a 30-degree angle there at all times. I don't know how the rest of Wyoming is, though. It's the ultimate state to live in, though. It's 500,000
Yeah,
people,
there's
no
nobody
taxes.
there. I love it.
Yeah,
If we
that's
just got to
that's my
control
type of
that
living,
wind,
though.
I'd be there.
No people, no taxes. Like, there you go.
Like, what else is there besides Cheyenne?
Well, you got Jackson, which I can't afford. So, not to mention you're literally sitting right up next to the biggest caldera, whatever in the world. But Old Man Strait, Lordsdale. I think that's Lord's not Lordsdale. Lord's. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Lord
Jesus,
Slade.
Lord's Lane. There must be another one if you're number one. Let's see here. No, Kansas isn't flat. Yeah, but that's flat to me. When you're used to the Rockies here, the government subsidies around 50% windmills. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to invest in. It's good overall, right? But it's just not. You can't rely on wind to be the only solution out there. That's it. You're going to have something. It's going to have to be oil, coal, or nuclear. It's going to have to be one of those three that supplements solar and wind.
Yeah.
Unless there's, hydroelectric, which is honestly not enough. Yeah, you can, what, Lake Mead or whatever, the Hoover Dam maybe could provide enough electricity for the casinos and stuff and everything there, but it's not going to provide it for California, right? Yeah, I don't know what you're laughing at. I don't really say anything that's funny. All good. The hairline of what?
Me?
Probably not me. Let's see here. Joined a little late. It's all good, Richard. Welcome. Wyatt, welcome. I just got an antenna. Matlock reruns. God, that's I don't know if I ever got into Matlock.
I did a little bit, not very much.
I can't remember the other name of there's a lot of Fall Guy, but there's another one.
MacGyver.
Well, MacGyver is just a classic, but yeah. There's another one that was kind of a detective one as well. It wasn't Matlock, though. I can't remember.
Way back to Perry Mason.
Not Perry Mason. Can't remember the name of this guy, though. I think he was the guy that played in The Notebook as the old guy, though. I think it was that guy that was in that show. You know which guy I'm talking about? Come on, you cried over that movie and watched it with your wife.
I don't think I watched it, actually.
Every man's watched that. Every woman has gotten their man to watch that. All right. Even Allgood's watched it. Earnings need to be considered. Absolutely. I agree. I'm trying to get to the bottom here, but I'm apparently way behind. I had to take realized loss on 30K. Plug, limit, AI. Honestly, it's the stock selection. That's the problem there.
Yeah, that is a problem. You got Plug, Neo, and Tesla are all.
Well, Lemonade too, and AI.
Well, I'm just saying, Plug, Tesla, and Neo are linked, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Neo and Tesla are linked.
Well, Plug is the charging.
So yeah, it's Neo, Plug, Tesla that are linked. Lemonade, that's the insurance company, right?
Yeah.
AI is
Lemonade's just been ridiculously. If a stock is going up, like if its stock is mooning, like literally like unexplained from going from $50 all the way up to $150 in a short time period, I don't touch it.
Palantir, that's kind of off in its own. It's no man's land, but it's still kind of a meme stock-ish right now. AI, that's the Cecil one, right? The whatever it's called, it's
when you look at a chart and it goes like this,
parabolic.
Yeah, I don't touch it.
Yeah, 30K, man. Sorry, bud. Don't revenge trade either. Try to.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
It was overextended, so I had to clear it out. Yeah, man. I think it's a smart thing to clear it out too before they start liquidating for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully you learned some lessons from that. Stock selection. Spread out the expiries, stock selection, possibly
Earnings.
even don't go as aggressive on your strikes. But at this point, don't. Let's say back to the basics. Yeah, you learn, you get humbled, right? You learn lessons and you throw those rules, right? So yeah, I mean, definitely don't revenge trade at this point, you know. Dave, where are you headed after fire? Thailand, South America, Peru is a nice place. Money goes far. um, hmm. I guess the world is my oyster at this point. I really don't know. Right now, I'm probably just going to be all over the place, like literally just see everything I could possibly see, and maybe something will speak to me. I'm going to say those words. Maybe something will speak to me when I'm there. Because you kind of get that feeling, honestly. I remember when I came here to Colorado the very first time, 2006. When I got here, I just had a weird feeling, a good feeling, not weird. I had a feeling like this is where I need to be. This is where I need to move. And it was 2 months later I moved here, or 3 months later I moved here. So yeah, nobody calls me Davey anymore, except all good. Yeah,
Nobody calls me genius.
Genius Gerry, the options duo. Thomas P. joining late. Did either of you? Let's see. Did either of you guys get hurt on it? Yes. I closed mine out for a loss this week. It would have been in the money. I had a 125. It got down to 106. I waited till it got all the way up to 115 before I bought it back. So literally, I had like a $2,000 loss on it. It was down $2,000 or something like that. It was it 2,000, $1,500, 2,000% or something. But it came back up to 115. I bought it back, and I took a $700 loss on it. Still up for the week, so it's fine. And then rolled it out to a 100, 19 days out, and I rolled it out to later this month, so I can realize that gain later this month, hopefully.
I rolled mine out till April, so it'll show as a loss this month. That's okay.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully the stock will come up. We'll just sell some more on it. We'll close out rather than sell another one. Selling cover calls on something you want to keep when it gets near being in the money. What metric you use to buy, close, and prevent the assignment? So
I don't think there's a metric.
isn't that kind of my question here is isn't that a contradictory statement? You're selling on something you want to keep, but then you're going to prevent the assignment, right? Like, I get it. You normally want to sell it on stuff that you want to get assignment on, but it's kind of like my strategy is not to take assignment. That's my strategy, right? I'm not willing.
He's talking about covered calls, though.
Oh, okay, got it. I missed that part. Thanks for clarifying. So yeah, so I ran into this on BYM, right? Consider money. What metric? If it's in the money, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I mean, once it gets to the expiration date, you're going to have extrinsic value, and that's pretty much going to be what you're going to pay for it to close it. So whatever that difference is what it is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, literally, it's going to be a lot of money if it's like a penny over. It's going to be like zero if it's a penny less. It's very weird, but yeah, that's how it would work by literally at expiration. But I ran into that on VYM. I closed it out because I had like $15,000 in gains in VYM. And I'm like 2%, 2.5% away from being in the money again. I don't think it's going to hit in the next 20 days, but I'm going to have to rethink that strategy because it's not working very well so far. It's just not been predictable, but we'll see. So got to run, gents. Well, thanks for being here, Dan.
Yep.
Jesus, man. In the office. Gerry skipped on me again here. Your car is stationary and your house is.
I don't understand that one. Where'd that one come from?
I don't know. That's just a Danism. Hey, Ryan. Ryan's been killing the Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum lately. Go check him out. Check his channel out. I've been kind of day trading a lot of the Bitcoin Cash recently. Anytime we had like a 10% swing, it'd go up 10%, I'd get out of it. It'd come down 10%, I'd get back into it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sold on it completely. So I wouldn't put a lot of money into it for me, but it is what it is. He's probably already gone at this point. Dropping to say hi. Had a bachelor party this weekend. Tired. Bachelorette party? Why don't you invite me? Let's see here. Has anybody figured out that I can't read yet? So let's see. Has never been a billionaire that you wouldn't let around your daughter. I just learned from watching Billionaires today. There's really only two reasons why people like you. It's that they think they can get something out of you, or what was the second option? They think they get something out of you, or I learned it from Billionaires. It's actually pretty interesting.
I'd like to know the other one. Or they can't hurt you?
No, I don't remember what it was. It was like 2 episodes back on second season. And then Maggie Sif, Wendy in there said there was a third. I forgot what it was about as well. But anyways, so there's really 3, but the 2 were the best ones in my opinion. Anyways, damn, sorry I screwed that one up, everybody. Let's see. Thoughts on Robinhood. Let's see. Are we doing CSP and SPY? Use the prim to buy ETS for long term. Daily buy on ITOT, Digra, blah, blah, blah. Roll as needed. Can take a sip. Did you follow this one, Gerry?
Yeah.
Doing just doing CSPs and SPY, okay. And use the premium, okay, to buy ETS for long term. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
The SPY is a tough one, honestly. For me, it's been. Because I wasn't making as much doing just SPY compared to doing what I had been doing. You have to be more aggressive to make money with it, number one. And I didn't like that. You have to be more aggressive with the strike to make money on it.
Yeah, you can move that over to QQQ, but.
True. Less buying power, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you want to be safe on it, you make a little bit of money. Ain't nothing wrong with doing it.
He's talking about taking assignment of it too, though, and news. Yeah, I like the strategy. It's probably safer than most, I'd say. I do SPY puts every week. I had to close mine out for the next week, but because they take a lot of buying power up, so I wanted to close them out to free up that buying power. It was no loss either. Like, all right, let me take them out for pretty much flat, free up that buying power, get myself in a safe position. And then I'll open up some more. Actually, or I have some open for the next week. But I have a boatload of like 3 on TQQQ, and I always have some on QQQ as well. But the TQQQ are the ones I would take assignment. If we got down, they were talking about last night, but if it gets down to that 35 level, or maybe I even take some at 50. You know what I mean? Robert Kiyosaki. That guy's a marketing genius, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
Casper.
You're talking about the bed or the ghost?
You're talking about Wyoming, I think. Yeah. Let's see. Nate, welcome. If everybody gets cars that drive themselves, will people miss the fun, thrill? I will. I definitely would. Because I'm old school. I'm a Gen Xer. I want a sports car again. Give me a 6-speed. Give me a manual.
Yeah, I want a manual shift now, but we only got one vehicle. My wife can't drive stick, so I can't have.
That's the problem, though. The Xennials, they see that little thing in the middle of the car. They have no idea what it is. They don't know if they should sit on it or what, right? So, what is that thing in the middle, right? Is this a
Why is there
e-brake?
3 pedals?
Is this a drift e-brake? What is this thing, right? They don't know what it is. And it's not going to, another generation goes by and they're going to see it. And muscle cars probably come down in value. Once all the boomers are gone, honestly, maybe the Gen X will keep the muscle car stock, or keep the muscle car prices up. But once the Gen Xers are gone, muscle cars will just go down in value because nobody's going to know how to drive them. They're not even gonna know what that thing is, right?
Well, they're not going to know how to work on them either.
Yeah, a carburetor. What's a carburetor, right?
Yeah.
And the third
You
thing
mean I got to
is,
pump the gas to start it?
yeah, the third thing is the gasoline's going to cost $10 to $15, $20 a gallon eventually. It'll never go away completely, but
Don't
the
say
gas
that,
is
Dave.
super expensive.
I got to buy an RV in a few years.
You know what else will go downhill eventually? Machinist, you know, rebuilding engines and all that stuff. That'll all go downhill eventually. But I literally, I'm going to own another muscle car. I'm going to build a 2JZ, built something. I don't know what I'm going to throw 2JZ in. I'll throw it in something. But I miss sports cars. I've had a lot of sports cars in my day, and Corvette, a bunch of Mustangs, Porsche, all sticks. I don't. I miss those days. So yeah, I'm right there with you. You're either a Gen X or you don't look like a boomer. So, but you talk to the Zennials now, and it's like the weird thing about them now is they have no desire to drive. They don't even want to drive. They want to sit in the back of the car and be on their phone. And I sit on a plane and I sit there and twiddle my thumbs I don't want to sit in a car and twiddle my thumbs even more. It's, Ubers, it's so boring to sit in an Uber. I guess I'm just too old, Gerry. Rockford. There you go. That's the one. Rockford. Did you pick that up from the guy from the Notebook? Anyways, yeah, Rockford. The guy's dead, I think.
Who was
now.
Rockford? What was his name?
The guy's dead. Just like I was talking about the guy in the Smoking Bandit's dead too. I can't remember.
Didn't he have a mustache, the handlebar type mustache?
That was the guy from Smoking the Bandit, which was in Cannonball Run, but I can't remember his name. I was talking about it the other day, and I just completely forgot it as well. But I'm using all my buying power from my margin account now. Won't go beyond it. What do you mean using all of it? You shouldn't be using all of it. I won't go beyond it, so no naked puts. That's not really using margin then. He's not buying naked puts. He's got a margin account, but he's not using margin. You're not using margin anyway, but you're basically paying cash, or you're using cash secured puts. You're not using naked puts. So. The margin thing is such a weird topic because number one, we got other countries that are different, right? And then here in this country, you're not really using margin, but you're kind of using margin, right? Because it sets kind of money on the side, kind of waiting for it, theoretically, but it's not really waiting for it. It's not using margin, but it's to protect you so you don't use too much, right? That's really all it is. But a margin account, you got a Reg T, you got portfolio margin, so that kind of confuses you as well, which is like a SEC requirement. Plus, on top of that, all the brokers seem to have their own rules too. Right? So it's so hard to answer that question. And there's a question that's been sitting in my question list that I haven't answered for like a couple of weeks now because I have no idea how to answer it. So it's just sitting there. James Begley. I forgot why, but why do you prefer SHD? That's a good one. That's a pretty easy one to answer.
Yeah, personally, I think DGRO has a better balanced portfolio. It has the tech names that you want in there.
Lower yield, but that's about it.
And regardless, whether you think tech is in a bubble right now, tech is going to be a major thing forever, as far as I can see. And you really need that, I think, in an ETF. SCHD is fine, but it has been outperforming actually, and it's kind of amazing because they don't have heavy tech in there, and
Let me guess. Comcast is in the top 10.
Yeah, it is. Comcast is in the top 10.
That's funny.
But I like that. I think it's Microsoft and Apple are the 1 and 2 positions in DGRO, and I think that's just the way to go. Because I think in SCHD, I think it's like UPS is the number 1 holding or something like that, and it's like why?
We had talked about this. Like the VOAM is in the same situation. There's no Apple. There's no Microsoft in there. There's no Starbucks. There's no Home Depot. There's no Realty Income. But you get a higher yield, right? So if you can own those other positions in like QQQ, then you're fine, right? It'll cover you there.
I'm not taking nothing against SCHD. It's a great fund. It really is. It has great dividend growth.
Like you might have some ulterior motives why you want to own it, though, right? You're going to want to sell covered calls against it. Do you want more yield, right? With NUSI,
if you want the yield and if you don't mind the lack of technology, SCHD is fine. And the covered calls, the options are okay on it. Degrow is not so good as far as on the option side, so you really can't go wrong with either one.
Caveat would be is maybe the overlap in NUSI or something if you wanted to do NUSI, but he's not mentioning NUSI here.
Yeah.
The good thing is they didn't mention SPHD, so at least we got that out of the way. Talking about a manual transmission car, giving a Subaru WRX STI a try if you get a chance. Yeah, it's not my type. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, but it's just not what I would want. For if I'm gonna have a sports car, it's gonna be a dedicated sports car. I don't need a car that's all-wheel drive or yeah. What would you get, Gerry? Just curious. Grand National?
It depends on budget. I mean, I'd really like to have a 60s muscle car of some sort. The new generation, though, I don't really. I mean,
there's not a lot. That 400ZX is pretty darn nice, though.
The what?
The 400ZX.
I like the Nissan's 370Z. If they were as a twin turbo, I think it is going to be a twin turbo, the 400Z.
You could. They'll aftermarket kit for it anyway.
That would be nice.
And it's a stick too.
Yeah, but exotics.
Rear-wheel drive.
Exotics don't really do much for me, like the Porsches and the Ferraris.
They sound nice.
Huh?
But they sound nice, but man, I'll tell you this, my Porsche, 11.5 quarts of oil and 2 oil filters. It's a dry sump. So the oil had to go all the way to the front. Like, you talk about an expensive oil change? You know what I mean? Those cars cost a lot of money to upkeep. That's not something I want to deal with. And not to mention, you got to keep all the stupid books and the maintenance, because you were to resell that thing, people are going to look for that information.
Yeah.
You don't need that on a Corvette. Nobody gives a shit. So,
right. The new Corvettes ain't bad either. Mid-engine?
They're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're nice. But to me, it's not the type of muscle car where it's, like it's not going to handle like a true front engine rear wheel drive car. You know what I mean? So it's kind of ruined from that perspective. Not to mention, it's got like a quadruple disc clutch in it or whatever. And to get it to peel out, you got to push both paddles down, and it's not a stick. I don't want that. It's not what I want.
Oh no. Yeah, screw that.
No, it's a paddle shifter. And it's like, I'm like, I just no. You gotta. It's like kind of funky how you got to peel the thing out. So, yeah, Gen X. Yeah, we're right there. You're just a little bit older than both of us. Not really. Burt Reynolds. That's the one. Rest in peace, dude. Anybody's not seen Smoking the Bandit, you gotta see the movie.
That was the first movie my dad took me to. That was the first movie I've ever seen in the movie theater.
Hilarious movie. Jackie Gleason is he's classic in that movie. Squintillions. Burt Reynolds. I thought of it the other day. I was like, who the hell? Oh, Burt Reynolds. But there's a famous girl in that movie too. I can't remember what her name was. Who is that girl? The one he picked up at the bar.
Lonnie? No.
Have a good, see you, Sam. Good night. We'll talk to you next week, or I'll hit you up on Instagram. Let's see here. I meant that if all my CSPs are assigned, I will have had sufficient funds to buy the stocks. Yeah, you're using cash secured puts. You're not actually doing naked puts. We all call them cash secured puts because people know what we're talking about. We don't normally differentiate between the two when we're talking about them. We always say CSPs, but honestly, I'm doing naked puts. I do have cash in my account, but I don't have enough cash in my account to cover all the positions that have to go on margin to cover them. I think you're in the same boat, right?
Yeah, I'm way in the same boat.
Yeah. Let's see, but Richard, you only have 100K cash to buy your 200K worth of stocks. That's basically what we're just talking about there. I'd have to go back to see exactly what he's talking about, but let's see here. Would that mean that if you're using 100K of margin, if assigned? Do you remember what his first question was?
Well, it sounded like he was using all his buying power. That's what it sounded like. So yes, if he's got
Well, it
200,000,
also depends on the broker he's using. I think he's using Schwab.
yeah, so it's 2-to-1.
It's 2-to-1. So yeah, you'd be using margin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, adding NUSI tomorrow. Yeah, I'm a big fan so far. It did pull back a little bit more than we thought. It didn't hold at the 4.5%. Was it supposed to?
I didn't even look.
It didn't. So that's a little. I wouldn't say it's concerning, but it is. It was odd though. So I don't know. I've been monitoring it every week. Every week I'll look at the holdings and I take the options out of the holdings list and I put it in a spreadsheet to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. They took the call sides off. So the call sides are gone right now, and the only side that's on is the put side. So I think we made a 7% down move, Gerry. And we had and the options were set at 4.5. So that's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is.
Anyways, I can see myself building that out too. What's that?
Maybe the value of the puts didn't cover the entire.
That could be it, but I mean, the other portion is because they kept adding puts on there.
Yeah,
that they were probably already increased in value at that time, right? Than when they originally sold them.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have also been factored in there as well. What you're saying is the fact that the delta wasn't 1-to-1. So they didn't technically, if we go down $1, it's not going to go up $1, right?
Right.
So the delta wasn't, I don't know if they call that delta neutral, but the delta wasn't, we had to look. Okay, we're able to look at those options change, right? NDX?
Yeah.
So the next time they do it, we'll look at what the delta, I'll start capturing the delta out of it as well. Because that I think that's the reason why, is the delta is probably like 0.9 or 0.8 or something like that. So if we go down $1, we're not going to capture that dollar back on the other end. Yeah. But I'll start capturing that going forward. These ones expire, I think, the third week of March. I think the 19th. Great tip on NUSI. What tip did I give? Or did Gerry give the tip? You guys don't like SPHD? I'm looking. No, I don't like it. I don't like it, period. It's like, 50 stocks, and they're not cream of the crop stocks. They're like kind of redheaded stepchilds. And you're paying, it's got a higher expense ratio, but you're really paying for that monthly dividend.
That's the thing. That's what people don't understand. SPHD has a managed payout, meaning that they're going to take all the quarterly dividends, hold them, and then divvy it up to you evenly throughout the month. So what they're kind of saying is that we don't trust you to be able to manage your dividends, so we'll just break it up for
because you don't know how to manage your quarterly dividends. That's really what you're doing.
So they're holding on. Yeah, they're holding on to the money and collecting interest on that money.
Not necessarily shitty. They're going to be worse than that, but it's not the best stocks in there. That's what I guess it is, right? And you're paying a premium.
Paying stocks, but it's not you. If you're looking at monthly dividends as a reason to buy an ETF, you probably should be looking somewhere else, because that is not a reason to be buying an ETF.
Unfortunately, that ETF got pushed real hard in 2020. It went all through all the community. I didn't push it. I'm one of the people that didn't push it. I was trashing it, honestly. Let me say this though: if that's the only investment you have, it's better than nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
like if you don't know anything about investing and that's what you got in, at least you got in it. At least you're invested. At least you're getting dividend, right? But there's better things out there than SPHD. So let me just say that. I don't want to completely trash it, but
Yeah, I mean, and then PEY, it's the same thing. It's even in higher expense ratio than SPHD, but it's heavier on utilities, I think. But it's the same thing. I mean,
yeah,
NUSI, at least NUSI has,
downside protection, a little bit of
downside
upside.
protection, high quality stocks,
Yeah.
has a little bit of growth potential there. I don't know if I'm gonna invest just because it's monthly out of those three. I'm biased, of course. I'm gonna pick NUSI.
I'm biased too. uh, in you technically could collar, the QQQ on your own and make more than NUSI, but you got to manage all that yourself, right? You're going to make more money than what NUSI pays out, but it is what it is. We'll check that later, right? See, why write your own options if you own JEP or NUSI? That's a good question. For me, I'm already doing options in a different account, right? And I'm going to be making more than what NUSI's going to pay me in there. I've already, what I would have gotten paid a year out of those, let me see, seven, it would have been about 14, 15 grand, right? I've already made that in 2 months, right? So I'm going to make a lot more in that account doing my own options. But at the same time, my dividend portfolio, we're going to have like $1 million in there. Then it'd be too much work, right? Doing options in that account in addition to this other account. So that's the reason why I own NUSI in there. Oh, what about you, Gerry?
Me, money.
Same reason,
Um, I,
really.
I can make more money writing my own options, but I own a small piece of NUSI. And to be completely transparent, I own it as a cash holding. I consider it my cash holding. Now, if we have a 10% decline, I'm not going to go in and sell it and use that cash. I have all my cash needs are really covered. So it's kind of my savings account. So other than that, I run options on my own for more money.
That's exactly it. If you wanted more money, but you can do the same thing what NUSI's doing, basically. You can manage yourself. You're going to get like twice what NUSI's going to make, but it's going to require work. So it just comes a point where having $1 million or whatever, $1 million portfolio, manage all that, that's a lot to manage when it comes to options and stuff. It's
Yeah, we
just
were talking about it. If you had $1 million, you can put half of it in NUSI and collect what
35K,
was it? Yeah,
40K,
was it 3 grand a month?
three
Like three
grand.
grand a month
Yeah.
on that.
So
And,
is this $1 million or a half a million?
oh, I think we were talking about 800 or 750. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I think right now my target's 500K into NUSI and 500K into VYM, and then kind of reevaluate, see how it's working. I'm still testing NUSI out right now. I'm a big fan of NUSI, and I want to just understand more about what they're doing behind the scenes. But I see it building it. I see myself building it out, and I'm building it out every single month anyway. I like the option down the road where I can start a new seat and put it back into like TQQQ or QQQ, right? Because it didn't go down as much as those did. I like that option. Yes, Sally Field. That's who it was. Uh, Blazing Saddles. I don't know who was in Blazing Saddles. Yeah, and that's a popular movie though. But you get 100K of additional buying power equals, yeah, that's Charles Schwab. This is 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 or whatever. A lot of those handcuff brokers like that, big brokers that are old school, are just in dinosaur times. I think Fidelity is the same way. What's up, investing sensei? Correct, Kevin. I'm using 100K margin if so I have 200K total buying power. Thomas P. Do you guys have a baseline income number you're looking for and dependable dividends you were at? Just getting money in the options portfolio.
I'm
just
not.
trying to.
Not at this
I'm just trying
point.
to build my. I know where my dividend flow is going. It's just a matter of time before it gets there. I got stuff coming out of here to go into there, but ideally, I'd like to get up to 3 or 4K a month. That way I can live off of that and not have to worry about the options account. The options account is just supplemental, right? That's the way I want to play it. You're going to more like live off of it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna more like live off it. It depends. I mean, if I go way
Options.
above my goal, then of course some of it's going to be in dividend stocks, and the rest I'll generate income on. But
You have a ways
it's
to get
too
there.
early
I
to
think you're going
tell.
to kill the goal. You're going to kill your goal. 250K, I mean, that's his goal, by the way, people. But he's going to kill that. He has a lot of time to get there, and he's got the tools to get there. And he's got the all good cheerleader effect behind him. Let's see. Or you convinced your options portfolio performance justifies having most of your money there. Options, yeah, I'm convinced that the options, I'm going to be able to produce, I don't know, 7x what my dividend portfolio can produce without the NUSI effect. But I think the NUSI would kind of bring the yield up to like 5% maybe or something like that from 3.5. But yeah, but it requires work, right? That
Yeah.
required work, and it's not coma money.
I mean,
So,
even 1% a month, I mean, you're outperforming the market
yeah.
for the most part. So,
And 1% a month, I wouldn't say it's totally passive, but it's pretty passive. It's pretty easy to do, but it's not coma money. You're not going to
right.
be able to just sit back in a coma, having money being printed daily or monthly or weekly or whatever.
But like for me, I would definitely, as long as I'm alive, I'm gonna do options, I think, because I want to build it up enough, and then I'll need to have a plan for my wife when I pass away. So a lot of that money will go into something. I don't know. Maybe I'll have Dave tell her to put it all into NUSI, and then she can live off that income, hopefully. Something like that. I don't know.
James Gardner, that's the guy. That's the guy that was in Notebook, but he was also in that Rockford Files. He's dead, I think. But that's the guy. I don't know what FTP is. Cop blocker. That's funny because I came up with that one before it was coined, actually. Copblocker.com or whatever. It actually is it really exists, but that's funny. It's a wordplay. I don't know what FTP is. First file transfer protocol.
Well, FTP is kind of a derogatory thing in the Hispanic community, but
is that no? I was just like, is that a ticker? Because that's not a ticker. Thoughts on so closed-end funds, BST. You're a closed-end guy. I mean, well, at least you've done study on.
Yeah, I like BST. I don't know if they're gonna continue to do that. I mean, to continue to outperform. That's the thing with closed-end funds. They're actively managed mutual funds, is what they are. In a small.
Is there par value on CFEs? CEFs? Is it a par value?
It's a
kind of like preferred stocks.
No. But
okay.
You got to look at the difference between a CEF, closed-end fund, and an ETF. Closed-end fund, their first and highest priority is income. So they will forego gains in favor of income. Capital gains is just a consequence. If it happens, it happens. Now in technology like BST is in, it just happens to be that it has gone up, right? So, but a closed-end fund, their rules, they are locked in. They have a board of directors, and they're locked into a certain set of bylaws, and their bylaws say income first, growth second. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
I'm assuming he's talking about BlackRock, but unless that's a knockoff fund.
No, BlackRock manages those closed-end funds.
But it says BlackRock, so I'm assuming you mean BlackRock. But
yeah, I read BlackRock because I just read it.
Honestly, I know, Thomas, you're in a different boat, buddy. you're in a just different boat. I don't care about beating the overall market. If that was the case, I wouldn't be in NUSI, right? I just don't. That's not something I care about where I'm at in my journey. For all you guys that have 10, 20 years left, by all means, worry about beating the market, right? Find the best things out there. QQQ, SPY, VTI, VU, right? I mean, yeah, but I don't. That's not where I'm at in my journey. I'm all about capital preservation and income at this point. Later on down the road, right? Maybe after I geo arbitrage or whatever, and the portfolio gets too big to fail, then I might start shoveling cash in slowly every year into more growth stuff, right? I've talked to Thomas about this in comments many a times, but yeah, just for anybody that's in the comments here, know that everybody's different in their journey. Some people are past the growth stage. They don't need to grow anymore. They're trying to worry about how to transition to retirement, which you need income. Could you just be in a straight VTI and retire on that? Yeah, you could. You just sell off a portion of your principal every year. But it just, there's something mentally satisfying about actually having dividends coming in to help transition instead of selling off principal, right? Anyways, that's my 10 cents. I am thinking about buying about 500 shares of NUSI, but I want to buy the dip. Buy the dip right now. Right now, you should be buying NUSI. Think about it right now, because if you look at where it's come from, right, it's actually held up very well in this 10% decline on the NASDAQ. I think right now is a good time to be buying it.
You're not going to get huge dips in NUSI. I mean, that's just the nature.
I would take advantage of the dip we've already had.
Yeah. You're not going to get major dips. So if you're looking for a 10, 15% dip, you're probably not going to get it, because we're most likely not going to have another March 2020. So if you want a 10% dip in NUSI, you're going to have to have a March 2020.
It was almost 11%, I think, total from peak to trough.
Something like that.
So
it's if NUSI gives you a 4 to 5% opportunity, I'd say that's a good time to go.
As far as this question where you should buy it all at once or 100 shares at a time, I don't think Gerry and I can answer that for you. That's not a question that we can answer.
No, because if we answered it and told you to buy it all right now, it'll go down.
Yeah, or you'll sue us.
Yeah,
I don't know. Don't sue us. But seriously, I mean, those are questions that we just can't answer those, because it's like a personal basis, like a question that only you can answer for yourself. Because I'm in a different boat than you're on. I got over 3,000 shares of NUSI, and the only reason I bought mine in a little bit chunks here and there, but it's just because if I had all the money at the same time, I would have just bought it all at the same time probably. But now that it's down, I want to buy more, right? So I don't know. It's just not a question that we can answer, but you can apply for portfolio margin. I made a video on applying for portfolio margin on Schwab, okay? And they rejected me, okay? Now, it wasn't they rejected me because I didn't have experience, or I didn't know what the hell I was doing or anything. It's because they ran like a tool or something, or an analyst tool, and said it wouldn't help me. So we're not gonna give you portfolio margin because it's not gonna help you. So that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna just blindly give it to you like probably IB would. IB, I don't think they run a check. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what you have in your portfolio, but the guy on the phone's like, he kind of made me feel like an idiot a little bit, but I was trying to talk him into it still. He's like, yeah, you just call back 6 months, we'll run a check again. And, but anyways, it's not going to help. Yeah, NIB at 6 to 1.
Is it really? Sheesh.
Yeah, it's 6 to 1. I think the only one that's doing it too, I could probably apply for it and get it, but from after hearing Stock Ninja talk about, because he's using portfolio margin in IB, it almost sounds like he's dealing with more issues with his buying power than we are. You know what I mean? Like it expanded over $100,000 last night. I'm like, I don't know if I just like, screw it. It's already hard enough to deal with 1 to 4 or 4 to 1, right? I don't want to deal with 6 to 1. Jesus. I don't have any positions in there anyway. Like, what would I leverage, right? I missed the NUSI talk, so I'll have to rewatch the beginning and replay later. Did we talk about NUSI early?
Not
Talk
sure.
about,
I don't remember.
yeah, I don't know either. James, welcome. Could you please explain NUSI more, please? I really didn't go into detail on NUSI. What I did is I referred everybody to Gerry because Gerry did a more in-depth video on it. So I would, Gerry can talk about it here, but also go take a look at Gerry's video. Matter of fact, while he's talking about it, I'll try to dig that video up for you and put it in the.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a covered. Could I call it a covered call ETF? It's a covered strangle ETF. So they sell a covered call on the NASDAQ, and then they buy.
It's not a strangle, actually. It's a collar.
It's a collar, correct.
Yeah.
Then they buy a put further down to protect their downside. So essentially, that's what it is. So you'll have a small little portion where they can it's actively managed, and they can actively manage those puts and calls. So right now, I think they took the calls off, so they can let the stock run. They can let the ETF run. But if the NASDAQ were to fall, they have limited downside because they bought the put, the protective put. So that's essentially what it is. It's a monthly payer, pays about 8% right now. It's actively managed. It has a high expense ratio of 0.68, I believe it is. And it's on the NASDAQ 100. It's a small, but it is a small, it's a small ETF right now. It doesn't have a whole lot of assets under management. What's that?
It's growing every day because they keep adding more and more contracts.
It's growing every day. Dave keeps buying it, so that asset under management keeps going up. So
honestly, my video, your video, Matt, I mean, we've all been pushing it, and it's spreading like wildfire. So we do have influence on it. So the biggest downside, I would say, is the lack of upside, right? Like there is upside there, but it's definitely not going to perform as well as a QQQ would.
Right.
Okay. So that's the biggest downside, but I'm okay with that. You're still getting a little bit of upside. Okay. But that's fine. You're still getting a 7-8% yield out of it.
This is more about capital preservation than it is growth.
Correct. And so it gives you options down the road if, you could take money out of NUSI and put it into something else if we had a pretty big decline. But the other thing is also they took the calls off right now. So that thing, if the market went up 20% right now, we could capitalize off of that.
Exactly. And that's the unique thing about NUSI is that it's not, they're rules based, but they're not set in stone. The management has kind of freedom to look at the market and say, okay, I can take those calls off and let it run. And
right now they're off.
Of course, they could be wrong. So, that's one of the risks. So,
well, they probably made money on those calls anyway.
Right.
They bought them back probably a lot cheaper.
They bought them back for a profit, right?
Yeah, they bought them back for a profit, but I mean, the other thing would be, what the hell was I gonna say? Shit, I don't know. I hate when that happens. They add more, this, that, whatever. Yeah, I mean, so I wonder if the stock came back up, say like another 5%, would they sell more before?
Would they sell another call? You're saying?
Yeah, would they open a boatload more?
I don't think so.
But this is the reason why I look at the holdings every week and put them in a spreadsheet. We're just trying to figure out what they're doing to make sure, because what happened back in September, right? Right. Yeah. Was that a mistake, or did they just judge on the put side, right? Let's see. Outside the tech, I've always known FTP to mean, oh, cool. Let's see here. I'm a tech guy, so FTP came right to my mind. But I'll say, sorry I tuned in late. I'm an old guy. Yeah, welcome to the club. I did put Gerry's NUSI video there. Go ahead and take a look at that because he does more. The video is like caught on fire too, so it's picking up. For those interested in NUSI, check out the link above. Yes, that's what you said that. That's not the only NUSI video you've done though, right?
No, I've done a couple at least.
Yeah. So you might want to just go to his channel, do a search, type in NUSI. Unless you've kind of cross-linked it with QLD or something like that, it might pop up those two. But thank you guys. Do a great job. Thank you for that, James. It's going to be definitely worth watching. Yeah, I agree. Matter of fact, the video is definitely. I know QYLD got pushed big time through the community for a while, and it's like and then Jeppy right after that one, right? Now it's all about NUSI, and I'm like, I didn't get into Jeppy, I didn't get into QLD. I know why you'd get into those, but NUSI is up more my speed of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, they all have their little quirks, so I have videos on all of them, so check them out.
And Matt's a NUSI fan. He was a QYLD person as well. I don't know if is he still in QYLD or did he get out of it?
Not sure.
Yeah, so he's all about the NUSI as well. Yeah, take a look at Gerry's video. Let's see here. All right. Do you need them today? NUSI is a good option. If you're 30 years from now, yeah, using your dividends, bro. Yeah, I don't know. If you had 30 years to go, I don't know if dividends are the way to go. Like right off the bat, you can maybe start building it on some on a recession or something. But that's a tough one. That's one of those questions that's like, people come and ask us, right? And we're like, we're not financial advisors. Like that's a question where only you can answer it. But I mean, obviously you want to invest. So any which way you want to invest, if dividends keep you motivated, then maybe that's the way you want to go.
But if volatility, that's the other side. If volatility will scare you out of it, maybe QQQ is not the way to go.
Exactly, because my video topic for this weekend, right? Dividend portfolio is down, but my income is up, right? Just there was like $7,000-8,000 swings just that day, just in the dividend portfolio. But guess what? My dividend income remained exactly the same. Matter of fact, it actually went up because I got dividend increases.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have swings there, but your dividend income is gonna remain the same unless you have like at March 2020 happen again and you got dividend cuts. Okay, but just don't get into shit stocks. I mean, Wells Fargo is a good example. It's not really a shit stock, but they did cut. And there's a select few other ones that cut. Disney, but Disney was really not really a dividend stock. What other one cut? That was like a legitimate dividend stock, not a piece of shit. Like CCL or something, right?
Ford.
Nah, come on, man. You wouldn't be owning that as a long-term dividend play. People bought that for the yield. That's it. Wrong reason to be buying a dividend stock is for the yield. I'm surprised that Allgood's still up, actually.
It's not that late.
I don't know. She'd call it quits. Good. Make a team, more power to you. I was assuming she was going to sign off right there. The Home Depot dividend increase. Yeah, Home Depot was kind of one of those pandemic plays we didn't even see coming. Because honestly, I didn't think that housing would do as well as it did.
Yeah.
I actually thought housing would, because of the moratorium and a bunch of other things, but there was kind of like a nationalism going on, you know what I mean? Where people are moving out of California, so they caused the boom over here. People moving out of New York, they caused the boom down here. You know what I mean? So it was like kind of pocky. But I definitely expected, and I still think that there's more evictions and more foreclosures that are happening. I got 2 houses that are still locked up for foreclosure right now. They're at a standstill, zero movement and I've been in those things for going on this year will be like 3 years. So it's just, I still think that there will be foreclosures going to be hitting the market, but it's going to be pockety. Can you sell a cover call? No, I don't think there's any options on those.
Yes, actually, you can.
On
You
which
can
ones?
sell. There are options on QYLD, not on NUSI. But my thoughts is QYLD is not even worth it. You have to sell at the money.
You got to
You
wheel
have to
it?
sell at the money, and then you get 10 cents or something
Is
like
there
that.
so there's puts on it too?
There's puts on it too.
You can wheel it then.
Yeah, but you got to wait until, I mean, if like for instance, if QILD was 24.50, you have to sell $25 or 24, and there's
Yeah,
nothing there.
that's
So
tough.
you have to wait until it's like $24.10, and then maybe the $24 put will give you a little something.
I don't know what callception is. That must be like a kind of like a, it must be a word play.
But NUSI there is not.
Yeah, yet. Go Magic Kager. I know what Kager is, but Codger? Codger? Are you a Codger, Jerry?
Cager.
Yeah.
Cager?
Codger. That just means you're over, probably over 70 to be a Codger. Maybe 75, I don't know. But yeah, Kager. I don't know what honestly, I'm waiting for NUSI to kind of give me what their Kager is. I kind of guessed I put it at 5%, so it didn't lower my overall Kager, but I don't know. Maybe it could be higher than that. I don't know. It'd be nice if it was like 7 or 10% or something like that. 7% or whatever. The normal amount, right? 7 to 10. You have any idea what it would be?
I have no idea. I really don't.
It's gonna be a while before we figure it out, too, I guess.
Yeah.
The 1 year Kager we can figure out, but I don't know what the 3 year and 5 years. It's not there yet. Loving how smooth the live stream is going. I'm just a smooth operator there. All good. Very informative, entertaining. What else do we want? I don't know. You tell me. You want popcorn? Looks like there's some more questions. Maybe we'll do a last call. We'll push it out another 5-10 minutes, maybe. It's been almost 2 hours, so it looks like the questions are dying down and the activity's dying down.
But yeah, so plans for the week. I'm just holding on. I have one thing in the money that's expiring on the 12th, so I'll just be managing that.
What's that?
Art K.
Oh,
my second Art K.
Wait, you rolled it in the money.
Well, no, that's my second one.
But you had to roll it, and you didn't roll it out of the money. It was you rolled it. It was still in the money.
No. I have two.
Oh, you had two. Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're both in the money. So
I got about 3 or 4 things that are in the money right now. I think AMD, Costco, Walmart, Nvidia. Wait, no, Nvidia's out of the money. Oh yeah, like 3 or 4 things. But market comes up, that's fine. I'll deal with maybe a week. But Black Sky. What's that? Black Sky. I don't know what that is.
Like some tech micro caps.
Oh, is that a ticker?
Small caps, maybe. Yeah, she put down the tickers down below.
Oh, she did. Okay. Yeah. How do you think the market will perform this week? We talked about this earlier in the video. Obviously, the stimulus passed, but the futures really didn't give a shit. I mean, they were up like 250, I think, at one point. Now they're, I don't have it closed right now, but when I got on the stream, it was like it was up to like 130 on the YM. NASDAQ was flat. ES was kind of flat. I think that was priced in, right? We think it was priced in. So
they're down now.
Are they? Crap.
Yeah, NASDAQ down one. Oh, dang.
Oh, crap.
NASDAQ down 137.
Ah, shit. It could have been one of those sell the news, right? It's not the rumor. It's just it was already priced in. So really at this point, what's the market to go up for, right? Like it could be shaking people out too. I do still think that we hit the bottom, but could be shaking more people out. I don't know.
I'm wondering if there's people spooked because this is the anniversary of last March.
March 7th and 8th?
No, I'm just saying just the whole month in period.
I do expect the markets to go up though, over the next 5 years or whatever. I mean, I can't remember having a double dip recession, quote unquote. I mean, like when have we ever had a recession 1 year and then had another recession a year later. Does that ever happen? So I mean, a 10% pullback is good for the market, people. Brings new, fresh capital in. It's good. 20% is even better. So I welcome it. Use it as an excuse to buy. Don't go out to, don't go to the mall and buy extra crap that freaking month. Don't go Starbucks. Don't buy. Well, go to Starbucks. I own it, but
Put it in
don't
the
go
market.
somewhere and spend extra money when you can be putting into the market on a decline, right? So yeah, I don't know. Rocket Labs. Rocket Labs. Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. Rocket Labs. Yeah, I don't know. BKSK, Big Sky or Black Sky. I'm not familiar with those. Are you familiar with those ones, Gerry?
No.
Let me look them up real quick, right quick over here. What's the ticker? B Sky. What's the other one? RKLB. RKLB. I can't find those. What are they, penny stocks?
Yeah, I can't find them either.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. Penny stocks. Dave, 1.5 million NUSI. Would you? No. Don't tempt me, man. That's so tempting, but that's way more money than I need. That's the problem. I don't know. That's a lot of taxes too, though. That's the way I look at it. I'm trying to mitigate the amount of taxes I pay once I fire.
Yeah, that's something that's overlooked. I mean,
It is. If you're
it's
married, that's
okay.
not bad. If you're married, that's not bad because you're gonna knock off 24K and then you got like technically up to 100K ish if they're qualified. But I don't even know how that's taxed yet. I got to figure that
But
out.
then
Return to
if you
capital.
got RMDs or whatever, that might hurt you too. And then Social Security on top of that, that could really
Well,
hurt
that's
you.
assuming it's on the retirement side.
Right.
Yeah, RMDs are something you got to think about too down the road, for sure. Maybe you can, ladder it out before you get to the RMD portion or time. Is that 59 and a half they start RMDs? Is it 60 something? I haven't really see that's the thing. I need to learn more about the retirement stuff. I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know all the rules yet, right? That's
And
what
they're
I've been
always
bringing the
changing.
channel. What's that?
And they're always changing.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. We got new legislation, new people come in. And honestly, the reason why I have a lot more cash outside of my retirement accounts is because the government can take over your 401k anytime they want. You know what I mean? They technically could take over any bank account they want. Would it piss people off? Yeah. Would it cause like an uproar? Yeah, it would. But they've talked about taking 401ks over. Let's knock the national debt down. So I've heard them talk about it. That's the reason why I stick a lot of cash in there. But nowadays, I just do it for the tax benefits. But they're a SPAC. That explains it. Yeah, I'm not a SPAC man. I don't really know much about the SPACs. That's Jason's, JMac. JMac
Yeah.
Investing's. But Nate, let's see. With more and more boomers retiring, we could see an increase in income-producing stocks. In my opinion, the other thing that you need to think about too, and this guy down in Florida, I forgot what his name is. Talk about like the different weather, the weather, the different. I can't remember the name. What the hell is the name of that guy? Anyways, he talks about it's not the all weather fund or whatever, but he talks about like the different. He talks a lot about like the boomers all retiring and they're dying off, right? So all those people that are dying off, all that money's going to come out of the market or whatever, right? So he's worried about that, but I still think the millennials outnumber the boomers, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a bunch of boomers retiring; they're coming out of the workforce. All that money's not going to be going in the market, right? That money's going to be coming out of the market. So it's something you have to think about. It's all that stuff you have to think about. You ever thought about that, Gerry?
I didn't until you just brought it up.
Yeah, it's something you definitely need to think about because there's a lot of boomers, and they have a lot of money in the market. So anyways, It's just another thing we could probably talk about in the future.
Yeah.
So, 1.5 NUSI was, yeah, I already saw that. I guess he said it twice.
Yeah.
Um, This this is KD 2020. What's KD?
I don't know.
Any idea of what to do with ARK-K? Where's it going to go? I think ultimately it's going to depend on what Tesla does.
Yeah, it's
Um,
heavily dependent on Tesla and Roku, I think.
yeah, Roku's second. It was. So really, honestly, it depends on what Tesla does. Probably where ARK-K goes. More so than anything, I'd say. Where's it going to go? As much as I sold the first puts, yeah, we all had puts on it. I had to roll mine, took a loss on it. I have another one down 100. Gerry has one. He had a couple, and now he's got another one. And yeah, it really depends on what Tesla does. Look at a chart. Tesla could go down even more where it's at now. So I don't know. I do have a put on Tesla too, some kind of double dipping. I'm buying the dip. Yeah, I'm buying the dip too. They are on SPAC. They're set to go public. Yeah, I'm not following those two. The only SPAC I was in was IPOE.
That's
I've been kind
SoFi,
of,
right?
yeah, it's SoFi. I've kind of been swing trading it, doing pretty well in it. But
Uh,
yeah,
someone
I'm not a
else
SPAC person.
someone else hit me up asking about SoFi, and here one thing, I haven't looked at it very much, but one thing that concerns me about SoFi is they're big into education loan refinances. Now,
So is
if
Ernest, right?
if we're talking about canceling college debt, will they be affected by that? Or
Oh,
are they
sure.
talking about federal debt? I don't know.
Well, yeah, only the federal portion they're talking about. And the last time I heard the Big B talk, he's like $10,000 or something, which is surprising. But to me, they want to wipe it all out, But I mean, I don't think they could get it passed. But yeah, I think it was like 10 grand or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's only the federal side, but it's called yeah, because I took loans out. Some were federal, some weren't. I had to pay all mine back. Made too much money. I couldn't even reduce. I couldn't even deduct the interest. That gets phased out at 65K. Now the funny thing is I barely made 65K at the time, and then when I got my master's, I started paying back my loans. Well, guess what? I got my master's and I started making more money. Well, as soon as I started making more money, I couldn't deduct the interest. So the government almost promotes weakness in a way, which is kind of weird,
Yeah.
right? You better yourself, and then they take all the pros and cons. I mean, they take all the benefits away. They're like, you better yourself? Okay, let's take all that away. So, um, I really can't hide my politics, can I? I say they are centered around AI and data. Okay, so it's another one of those snowflakes, Fastly's. I don't think Fastly's big data, but
Palantir,
yeah, Palantir, AI,
CrowdStrike. There's a lot of new ones out there.
Siebel or C3 or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, and NVIDIA's doing it too. So is IBM as well. I'm looking out for the data bricks. Not familiar with that one. Yeah, I know you're an engineer, Tam. Are you an IT engineer, by the way? So we talked. We didn't really talk, but I heard you in the chat room.
I think that's what she said last time.
Yeah. Black Sky will go public with. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I'm not a SPAC person. To me, it's too much of a gamble. SPACs are. Rocket Labs go under. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna remember that one. I can go back and look at the chat though. Any good real estate ETS? Yeah. VNQ.
The only thing, I mean, it's kind of like the real estate sector. It's kind of like the oil sector. The ETFs are kind of bad because you own the best stuff, but there's a lot of crap in
Yeah,
the.
yeah, I agree. You got an ETF that's full of a bunch of, like VNQ is a good example, right? There's some good ones in there, but there's some shitty ones, like Simon Property or something's in there, right? Like Simon Property is not the worst example, but you get what you get. Like it's probably better. I'm okay with VNQ personally, but you always got to have the bad apple with the good apples, I guess, right? rotten egg with
And
all.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing with the ETF. That's with any ETF really. I mean, you're gonna
That's
have
true.
some crappy stuff down toward the bottom. So
You could just own Realty Income and be done with it.
you could do that. You can own just some of the big names, Federal Realty.
Well,
Eh,
it's a king, don't get me wrong, but it's like I don't know if I want to be invested in what they're invested in. Or I don't know if I want to be exposed to that, right? I have enough real estate as it is outside of the stock market. So I don't really right now real estate is something I'm kind of trying to keep at a minimum. I'm trying to get
well,
out of it a lot.
if I mean you're in IT and tech and data and all that, maybe look at a DLR or a CCI or a AMT, something like those.
I
Tower REIT.
definitely like DLR. I think Essex is okay. DLR is okay. I'm gonna give a shout out to Matt here for Stag. Okay, Stag's probably okay too. But Realty Income's my wheelhouse. I know what they're invested in. I don't think those companies are going away anytime soon. It's a monthly payer. It's one of the best ones out there. They actually increased the amount of properties that they had overall last year. Okay, during the pandemic, during a recession, they actually increased the amount of properties they had. So yeah, it's one of the best. It's the best in class. What's my master's is? It's master's is information systems. Yes, she's in IT too. Yeah, IT. Congratulations, not IT. I really have not come across a lot in my career. See, they first started to do refis for some media nurses. Yeah, he's talking about SoFi is my guess. Instead of he or she, I don't know, but
Yeah, I think
um,
so.
yeah, Ernest is another one. Yeah, I don't know a lot about SoFi. I do see them on TV. So I kind of I know them, right? They're not completely, unheard of. So I'm looking at a Vanguard ETF for healthcare. Yeah, I mean, just go with the sector ETF on it then.
I think it's VCH, I think.
Yeah, I don't have that one off the top of my head, but just go the sector ETF for that sector. I mean, every Vanguard has all the sector ETFs. They're a little bit more expensive with the expense ratio, but they're not still that bad. 0.1, I think they all are. She has Owen, or he. That's Steve. I think his name is Steve. I have both O and Stag. Yeah, you probably got those out of Matt Money's because Matt Money likes both of those too. So Realty Income ticker is O. Yeah, they all said it right here.
Oh.
Just O. I could have made a bad joke out of O, but I'll keep it to myself. I'm so bad, Gerry.
Friggin' Dave.
I am bad. EQIX. Yeah, that's a good one too. I have a customer.
Equinox?
What's that?
Is that Equinox?
Yeah. So I have a customer. The customer that I support they have stuff in a DLR, a digital realty trust data center, and a Equinox. So, and I know there's a lot of other customers in there too. Yeah, VDE last year. Now it's going up. That's the
Because
energy. Is
you
that the
sold.
energy?
Yeah,
That's
it's because you
the sector
sold.
energy.
Yeah,
Sold.
that's the sector energy. And it's going up because you sold it.
Welcome to my club. When I
Yeah,
get into
that's how
something, it
it
goes
works.
down. When I sell it, it goes up. A good example was that is Intel. Thing freaking skyrocketed as soon as I sold it, right? Obviously, here, I talked about this last week. Don't regret it. There's no reason to regret it. It does you no good. You're
Yeah, you
wasting time. You're wasting brain cells.
can't go back and change it. So
And don't say, oh, I could have made 500. I could have made 5,000. I could have made this. Well, it doesn't matter. You're already out of it at this point. It does you no good. Okay, yeah. So he reaped the benefits of you selling it. Let's see here. We'll get down to the bottom of these and we'll call it quits, y'all. It's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Honestly, sometimes I just buying the sector ETFs saves you much time in doing research. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Cody. There's it's hard to actually quantify the benefits of having individual stocks, like dividend stocks, over just like a VTI or a VU. You could go with just all the sector ETFs, that way you can kind of fine tune the allocation, right? Like you can sector rotate as you need then by doing it that way. I had done it earlier this year, earlier last year in my M1 account, right? Had all this sector ETFs. Oh, sector rotation, right? Or beta rotate or whatever you want. You could do that. It actually would be a valid strategy, but I would completely agree with you. Yeah, VXUS is pretty good. The other one is VWO. Both of those are emerging / international.
I think VXUS is the dividend one, right? The high yield one.
I think they do they both pay? One's emerging, one's international, but I think they both are kind of merging in a way. I mean, it's.
I mean, if you want internet, I don't have any.
I don't either.
I just consider most U.S. companies are international anyway.
It's so that's an interesting one because I saw somebody's portfolio that was from overseas, and they had all. I can't remember the name of the guy. He had all international stocks from the country he was from. I think it was Canada, by the way. 0 U.S. companies, which I found kind of interesting because if I was outside the U.S., I'd be in U.S. companies for the most part, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there is tax consequences there too. But you could buy VT. That'll cover everything. 8,000 stocks. That'll cover everything in the world. If you want to just go one stock, one and done. You know what I mean? You can just do
There's
VT.
something to be said about simplicity.
Yeah, 8,000 stocks. I'm trying to get to the bottom here. I would look at individual REITs, not necessarily. Yeah, I don't have a problem with VNQ, honestly, but pretty much Real Tim still the best in class, in my opinion. There's some other ones out there. A lot of people will probably force there's a lot of crappy REITs. Like REITs there's like a double-edged sword because people get attached to that high yield. There's a lot of high yielding REITs out there, right? 10, 15 percenters. And those are the ones that really need to watch out for. So just look out for those. I know Stag and, Digital Realty Trust and some other ones. Summit Property Group, honestly, I'm not a mall person. I think malls are going to shit and going down. They're slowly going downhill, even though they seem to be doing okay, or Summit Property. I don't know. I don't know about that one. You Sunday live streams are so cozy. Well, I know it's cozy where you live too. So she's, I think, an hour behind you, Gerry.
Oh wow!
Listening to all this shop talk while I make dinner. Yeah, what's for dinner tonight? Am I invited?
I need to eat something.
Yeah, I'm starving too. We're gonna close this out as soon as I get down to the bottom here. I do appreciate everybody joining, building up my queue. Yeah, what's the M, Gerry? That's the.
It's the QQQ, but it's not. Why did they make that? They made it for
buy and holders.
Buy and holders, not because QQQ is really a lot of it is used in the options trading. QQQM is for buy and hold people to have access to the NASDAQ 100 at a cheaper price.
Exactly. Building up. Good job, Kevin. You win some, you lose some, but overall, hopefully President Biden and the Fed do not cause inflation. Oh, they most definitely will. I think Jay Powell right now doesn't even know what to do. He doesn't even know how to combat it. Matter of fact, it's kind of a funny thing where it's out of his control. He doesn't know what the hell to do. He's kind of scared, but he won't admit it. If you were in your early 20s again, would you still buy Amazon, Google? Yeah, why wouldn't you? I had a chance to buy Google. It was 120. It was like 2004, if I'm not mistaken. I know where I was sitting too when I looked at it. Like $120? Oh, that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's like, honestly, a stock price really doesn't have anything to do with whether it really is expensive or not. But $120, like back then, to me, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of freaking money. Now, what
I
a
said the
cute-
same. I said the same thing about Shopify a couple years ago. I was like, "Holy crap, that thing's like $300,"
Another one that
and
comes
now
to
it's like
mind was
over 1,000.
another one that comes to mind was CMG. Back when mice were falling out of the ceiling, and there was conveniently people already had their cameras out and they're videotaping the mice and all that. I'm like, that was the time to buy. It was like $300 a share. Anyways, what are you gonna do? No regrets, Mo. What are you guys' thoughts on non-traded REITs? Non-traded REITs, what's that?
Yeah, they're private REITs. They're private. I don't know. I've only done a cursory look, so it's
Yeah,
not something that's on the open market.
you're like the REIT expert because you had like a boatload of them, didn't you?
I did
You learned it all from Brett Owens
pretty
from
much.
from Contrarian something.
Him and Brad Thomas.
Yeah, those guys they have a service where they provide basically it's just a bunch of REITs. The whole portfolio is in REITs. It's questionable though. Plan on buying 100 shares of Stag tomorrow. Yeah, I don't. I know Matt's a big fan of Stag, but it's not one that I really, I've done a lot of research on. I kind of like the idea of it though. They
I
invest in
haven't either. Might
things
want
like
to
warehouses and industrial
right.
complex.
Might want to also look at M&R. They're in the same category, but I don't. They're probably not as high quality, but who knows?
Jesus
Just
Christ, I can't get
giving
to
an
the bottom.
idea out there.
Many people still working through the pandemic. Still myself got huge pay cuts. Is built into PPP loans. I don't think inflation will happen. Yeah, it's going to be a while. Think about it. We went like 10 years. It was more than 10 years, right? Yeah, it was more than 10 years. We got to 2%. We got to 2%, and it literally killed the stock market. When you're sitting on that government teat for that long, like the market couldn't even handle 2% before people started freaking out and the stock market started freaking out. It's gonna be a long time. I really didn't get affected by the pandemic at all. They did cut my 401k, but that's back reinstated. I got a bonus. Bonus actually gets paid more than I got last year, even though last year's was more like 30% more than my usual bonus. This year was even more than last year. So I don't, and plus I'll get a raise. I don't know. Some people got affected, some people didn't. It really depends on the industry you're in. I'm not bragging, by the way, just saying. June. What's June?
Cajun.
I'm terrible. When I say Vallejo, it's Vallejo. When I see Yosemite, it's Yosemite. It's not Yosemite. Jesus. June. Oh man. How the hell am I a millionaire, Gerry? Oh my God.
You're
I
a
have
smart
no
one,
idea.
Dave.
I just it was luck. I'm good at what I do. I was gifted with certain skills that pays pretty good. That's my only gift. I am not the best when it comes to English and stuff like that. I'm reading it, and it looks funny here. It's the font, Gerry.
There you go. We'll call it that.
Yeah, best REIT will never be qualified dividend, right? Best, but yeah, no REITs are qualified. I don't think any REITs qualified.
No, they're not.
Because they're required to pay out like 90% of their profits in a dividend. That's all unqualified.
Most
Be careful. Try to keep
BDCs
them
are
in a
not
tax sheltered
either.
account if you can. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Amazon. So I've been a user of Amazon. If you look at my account since '98, so I've been using Amazon for a long time. But back when they were just books, 98 might have been 2000. Honestly, my eBay account goes back to '98. So yeah, I don't know. It might have been 2000, but yeah, why did I invest in it? I don't know. I'm an idiot. I'm looking for the next Amazon. February was my first month selling covered calls. All right, what'd you get into? Tell us.
Nice.
I'm trying to get to the bottom here so I can close it out. Unless you want to go a little bit longer, Gerry. Really, it
Let's
is
see if
getting
we
kind
can
of
get to
long.
the bottom. We're almost there.
I know. What are you getting in Fundrise update? I don't know. I kind of lost the Fundrise crowd, I think, a little bit. A lot of people don't want to look at that video, but I pretty much try to do those quarterly because it really doesn't make any sense to do one every month or anything on that. We'll see. Greetings all, Warren Knights. Let's see. Stag will print. Yeah. Monster. Gino. Let's see here. You can read numbers, but not letters. You busted my balls? You busted my diamond nuts? It's all about diamond hands, but I'm talking about diamond nuts, baby, because I don't know what diamond hands are.
As long as there's numbers on it, you're
Tech
good.
money. Yeah, tech has been very fruitful for me. I was really, I'm a natural at it, though. It really wasn't something. Honestly, I went to school, but I didn't learn anything about what I do for my job from school. It was just a paper to get more money, right? That's all it really was. What I learned was all self-taught when it comes to IT. Education was just to get more money, and then certifications was just part of the game. But the great thing about IT is it's not a career field where you need education to be successful or make a lot of money. But Dave, I hear you. Wait, I hereby invite you to the South. Oh, okay. Where are you at? You know, Panama. Oh yeah, that's Texas. Texas. You got oil down there?
Got oil down there.
I'm not a Houston fan, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a Houston fan. It's too humid for me. You know, I don't like five-story overpasses either. Those kind of scare me. Just not the biggest Houston fan. What am I gonna say? You guys make a great couple together. Yeah. Waiting for me to yank a diamond nut out and give it to you. Me too, 1998. Jeez, we're dating ourselves. We're old. Yeah, treat you good. I'm doing baby infant.
Covered calls with Bank of America. It's a good way to start.
That's a good one to start with. That's an excellent one to start with. Diamond bacon. Is that bacon? Is that no? Those are nuts.
No, that's nuts.
That was bacon. Come on. Come on, Cletus. That's yeah. I mean, that's a nut. Diamond nuts. Feb was the first time my net worth had ever decreased since my career has started. Feb, so it didn't decrease last year in 2020, 2019, or excuse me, in March and February of last year?
Oh, you got to get to the next one, Dave. That's all you, baby.
My friend, you're cute. She says hi. I'm glad she said she and not he. I don't know where you're at, Tam, but I'm flattered. You know, I guess the Just for Men's working for me.
And his email address is on his channel. You can reach him there. That's
true. You could reach out to me on Instagram if you wanted to. Say hi. Have your friends say hi too. I like, I'm single and ready to mingle. Am I blushing? No, I'm not blushing.
Yeah, but you are a little bit.
Nah, I don't blush. I don't think if anybody's ever said that to me though. That's funny. Thank you for that compliment. I don't hear it enough. Gerry says it every day, but it doesn't mean anything.
Pretty much.
Let's see here. Dave, Ken, June. Yeah. I'm terrible. I don't even know how I got, I did get straight A's in my master's program, but I have no idea how I did. But, I know how I did because it was all IT-based classes. That's how I did. Let's see. You do not know old I am 90. You're not 90.
90?
You ain't freaking 90. You've been through like all the recessions in the world here. You got the most, like you can just, this ain't nothing, man. 50%.
If you are 90 and you're on YouTube and can type and know what all that's all about, props to you. Because it took me a while to learn this.
We're still learning Twitter at this point. We don't even know how Twitter works, right? Facebook, like I gave up on Facebook in 2013 and closed the account, and I only open it up for the YouTube channel now, and now it's like I have no idea how it works. So Let's see. No net worth was tied to stock market. As maybe you weren't actually tracking it back then yet, Cody. Yeah, I bet you weren't tracking it in February, March of last year. That's why you didn't see it go down.
Yeah.
Because it hit me.
Let's end on this last one.
Yeah, we'll end on Tim's here. Let's see here. We're gonna end on this one. I am in Florida. She says, okay. Are your DMs open? DMs on what?
His DMs are open. He's public, baby.
Wait, it could be like something from Urban Dictionary. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm familiar with Florida. I've traveled all through Florida. I know Florida very well.
There you go. So,
actually, that I need to dump. No kidding, I'm 55. All right, y'all. Hey, thanks for joining. We're 2 hours and 30 minutes. We'll see you next Sunday. And if you have any questions, go ahead and hit Gerry up on NUSI, or just hit up Gerry. Go ahead and subscribe to Gerry. Subscribe to me if you're not subscribed to me. And I guess we'll close it here, Gerry. If you want to say goodbye and all that.
That's all I got. You guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. This is fun. I like this. Today we really didn't have a subject. It just kind of flowed through, and we got through 2.5 hours of it. So I appreciate it. Come check out my channel. Subscribe to mine and Dave's. And I'll see you guys next week.
If you guys want, we could do things outside of options too. It really just depends. I mean, it doesn't matter to us. I mean, options honestly is like where we want to get people involved and interested. But we're welcome to share ETF and just stock market stuff in general as well. So
absolutely.
Anyways, y'all have a great week. Keep your fingers crossed that we don't have a big sell-off this week, and we all make money. So be safe, everybody. We'll see you later, and DM me.